Yu-Gi-Oh channel, mostly Yu-Gi-Oh, but today we're actually going to be looking over the event for Pokemon. And this is the event that they're having actually in Seville at the moment, which happened over the weekend, and we will be reviewing some of the information for it and actually reacting to the gameplay.
Just wait until I evolve. Exactly that. Let's see your Magikarp impression.
Bear in mind this is on YouTube, so you will be getting that.
Imagine being able to build anything,
which I find
just
also
by
quite
thinking
annoying.
about it. Meet Base 44.
Well, we'll just have to live and learn with that.
Perfect. Yeah. That's why they're betting the big bucks, everybody. Well then, everybody.
So they're now introducing just the gameplay and how that's going to go.
This is the culmination of Regulation ZF. That's excitingly. Very exciting, yeah.
This is a combination of kind of like the new season for Pokemon and the championships, and this is in the Spanish region.
From that first time around, and there is that still underlying question, I feel.
They'll be looking at various champions and who's going to be potentially competing, and the favourites within the game and the matches.
From last weekend to come into this event. So everything's up in the air, which makes it very exciting. And will there be another iteration?
They're talking about whether there's going to be any changes, any going to be anything game-breaking or challenging, or, you know, are there going to be any absolute, you know, people who are going to kind of break the game type of situation.
But of course, Sevilla, this is only one stop along our road.
Yeah, so this is kind of showing an indication of how things are. So at the moment we've got Seville, we've got Prague, which is in April. May is in where is that? Utrecht. Turin is in June. New Orleans is in June, and San Francisco is also in June. So this is just the whole different range of different matches.
Well, I'm afraid to say you can't just turn up at the World Championships. You've got to accumulate those championship.
You have to be able to develop the championship points to be able to compete on the national stage and into the world stage. So this gives you the kind of the point scores to if you win your different rounds. So for example, if you're in the EU and you get a Masters, then that's 80 points for winning, and 20 for senior and for junior. However, in some other areas, which is quite unusual, you've got Oceania, where it's only for Masters you get 20 points. So that means by that it's quite strange. Maybe it's because they don't have so many players within the rounds to be able to compete effectively with that.
There's more, isn't there? What if I told you it wasn't just the
and you need to be placed within that top 64 in order to go round into the World Championships.
You can get a hefty amount of booster packs as well this weekend if you play.
They're talking about the number of different booster packs, special championship prizes. So top places, you're looking at 108 boosters, anywhere from 1st to 8th. And then 72 boosters for the top 32. 9 to 32, and then anyone beyond 32 to 64 you get 36 boosters. So ideally you want to be in the top 8 so that you can at least maximise your opportunity. And it only says here that obviously the first place will get a natural instant invite into Worlds.
Hopefully qualifying for the World Championships. Let's take a look at our EU leaderboard, and out in front there.
And here we've got the EU leaderboard at the moment. So you've got Eduardo Cunha, which is, I believe, Portuguese, 1,564. 50 points behind him is Marco Silva for Italy. Theotim Massoud is for France, which is 27 points behind him. Eric Rios is Spanish, and he's 87 points behind that. Oliver Escolan is from Finland with 1,326 points, which is 74 points below him. Louise Markel is Denmark at 1,256 points, so he is 69 points behind. Francesco Piero from Italy is 1,252 points, so he's only 5 points difference.
Both of whom did
Yeah, so
extremely well at the
yeah,
Europe International Championship.
there are quite a few
Around a month ago,
representatives,
I
and
believe it
we'll
was already
kind of
4 weeks ago.
see
That's
how
what
they're going to
went
fare.
down in London.
So this is actually back in the Pokemon World Championships earlier in the year. This was in February, hosted in the London, England.
The UIC was the largest VGC competition to date.
It's been the largest VGC competition to date, so you can imagine how busy that actually was.
World champions, the road to Sunday was relentless. However, when the lights shone brightest, only 6 trainers remained. In the junior division, Zachary Thomas, the American
So it was Zachary Thomas.
faced Hideo Uetu, the Japan Nationals champion and only remaining non-American trainer.
Yeah, I do remember this. It was
5 identical Pokemon between them. The set was very board position focused.
very similar Pokemon they used. I think there was only like one change between the two teams.
And game 2 was decided by a perfectly timed icy wind.
Yeah, it was the icy winds that actually took out the Fluttermane there. And the Moonblast took out the Urshifu because that's a super effective move. So as the Japanese representative, he won.
We had Charlie Kim versus Leland Smith, both regional.
And then we have these two who were close friends. They were representing the seniors rounds. And one of them was just old enough to just about make the seniors division. And he won within his competition. And then we have the Masters division. So one of them had actually lost to the other in one of the previous tournaments.
Stood 6-time regional champion and 2023 EUIC champion Paul Chua.
And Paul Chua won that one.
With an Iron Crown Hyper Offense team, Paul brought refined structure with the meta-popular Bolt Balance archetype.
Yeah, so we have Raging Bolt and Incineroar, and then you've got Iron Crown on the opposing team. Yes, he won once again. Paul Chow as the VGC Masters Champion for 2026.
Make sure to check out Pokemon.com/compete for more information on how to get involved in play Pokemon events around the world.
And they're just advertising how you can get involved into the play Pokemon events.
I don't know how you do it. 2 places at once. Wait, what, sorry? 2 places at once. I know, I find a way somehow, but no. I mean, it was an amazing opportunity to be there, just seeing all of our champions being crowned there, and of course the finalists on that main final stage was something I think everyone cherished. It was the biggest tournament of all time.
It was the biggest tournament, so that was what was kind of amazing about it.
Sometimes I wonder if we do have script writers for these events. I mean, Paul Chua winning again. Winner of the first tournament, the first EUIC in Scarlet and Violet, and now the last.
So he won first for the EUIC.
Absolutely beaming, couldn't believe it. Having a repeat international champion as well, that is something very, very, very few trainers have been able to achieve. I mean, that's what it's all about, Riley. That reaction there, the beaming.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was just phenomenal being there to be able to kind of witness Paul doing it again. But
yeah, so he won yes again, so they're talking about how his successes have been continual and how potentially he could be another favourite within some of these types of tournaments.
Hoping that they can achieve that big victory, and I think it's about not giving up. Paul a few years ago won EUIC, hasn't really had that big win since then, had some good results of course.
He's not had any massive wins recently, so
with the team that they did,
as he came back, he was able to claim victory.
Looking forward to seeing Paul's performance at the World Championships later this year.
And they're looking at what his performance will be like going into the future.
Placement in Toronto several weeks before with basically the same team. So just saying, you know, I know I'm pretty good at this team, clearly proving.
So yeah, he's basically copied over another team that he's used frequently.
The finalist position as well. Let's take a look at their teams, how they matched up into each other. And Zachary was.
So now we've got the breakdown of the finalist and the champion. So we have the Ogerpon, both are using the same. There's a Fluttermane, there's Incineroar, Urshifu, the Rillaboom, and the Raging Bolt. And on the opposing side, the finalist was an Ogerpon and Indeedee, Iron Thorns, Iron Crown, I think, Urshifu, Tornadus and Landorus.
And yeah, this time around, the Rillaboom team was able to prevail. But yeah, Zachary Weed, as you were saying, bringing some interesting new twists to that archetype, especially that choice band Landorus variant.
Yeah, they were using a choice band Landorus,
really beneficial in Zachary
which was his variant on the match.
There was Paul Chua with his trusted balanced kind of team, and that was just a little bit too much in the finals. And yeah, Paul deservingly claiming that championship.
Yeah, they're saying that Paul deserved to win in that situation.
And Paul is just one of the premier pilots, just a trainer that you really have to get inside the mind of if you want to.
Yeah, you have to get inside the mind of the person to be able to counter their plays.
As well. Now, obviously, plenty more trainers besides the biggest Pokemon tournament.
Final standards. So this is the breakdown of the different people who were in for the London tournament, for the Worlds tournament. A number of them have come over to actually this match in Seville.
It's so different from what we were expecting to come into the tournament.
So a number of them are using a very common theme Pokemon that just kind of replicated their way across. One of the interesting ones is the 7th place Frederick Ho Nielsen. He's using both a Tatsugiri and the other Pokemon, which was with the Tatsugiri. I can't remember its name offhand.
Testament to him, and Francesco here in Seville this weekend. So I would say maybe a player to watch out for, because I think they're really on a hot streak of form in this format. Yeah, 100%. I mean, Roberto Parente, I believe, is also here this weekend.
Yeah, so they mentioned here that a couple of these who have placed have actually going to be in this tournament. Francesco Piero, so 3rd place, and Roberto Parente, who is 4th place, are both actually here today.
It's showing up in team preview, and you're thinking about, oh, what can I even do to stop these powerful dragon energies? Then sometimes it's already too late. It's one of those Pokemon that kind of forces you to have either a fairy type Pokemon or a Terra type.
You have to be discussing about how they got various Pokemon in the games that are Dragon types, and actually you have to do one of two things. Either you have to run a Fairy type dedicated Pokemon, or that you're going to have a Pokemon that has terrestrialization into the Fairy type to be able to compete effectively.
I think Sylveon though of that.
That'd be cool.
Very cool. So Primarina.
Yes, true, Primarina. There's also the Giraffe in the Room, Raging Bolt, Terra Fairy.
Yeah, but you got to commit specialization for that.
It's always going to, pretty much. Unless you're Terra Electric and you've got some shenanigans going on. Now, before we expose that too deeply, everybody, let's take a look at our champions in our EU season so far.
So these are the current champions that you've got in the EU regionals. So you've got in Frankfurt, Emmanuel Briganti. Lille had Marco Silva. Gantz was Simone Sanvito. Stuttgart was Luca Carabelli, and in Birmingham was Stefano Greppi. We have yet to determine 4 different locations, so these will be points for the EU events.
Big team building groups as well as practice groups, where they're just not only promoting themselves, but they're promoting everyone around them. So it's a really positive environment to find yourself in, especially when they're so talented. And 5 out of 5 is incredible. But with 2 Italian trainers being so close to getting EUIC, reaching that top 4 level.
Yeah, looking at this graphics reminds me a little bit of what was going around at all the way back in 2012 at the Pokemon World Championships. Back then, Ray Rizzo, he was a 2-time world champion, and before the tournament, everyone was like, I mean, surely he's not going to win a 3rd time, right? Like, he did it twice. Like, surely there's no way, right? And so maybe we're sitting here thinking, like, surely there's no way an Italian player wins for the 6th event in a row.
Right? Talking about how the Italian nationals are being quite strong at the moment, and how potential for them to win in future tournaments is going to happen. Potentially this could still happen. But we're going to have to wait and see whether that's actually an effective strategy, or whether this is kind of just a bit of bluster. Just because you've got more representatives in some of these top cuts doesn't mean necessarily that they're going to win. I mean, in the situation with the seniors from the Masters, from the seniors division, they had 1 Japanese national, the rest of them were US based, and it was Japanese national that won.
Carson, a previous regional champion from last season.
Yeah, they're talking about
regional
this person here.
title. And Carson, of course, is rocking that Cantonian Ninetales. Real interesting adaptation.
So this is Dylan Matthews, Houston Regional VGC Master Champion.
The king of regulations at F?
I don't know about the king, but it's a very important threat in the format. I think we saw Zachary at EUIC piloting it through the field that weekend to a really good success. The only thing that stopped Zach was Paul, really, at the end of the day. And then I think Iron Crown has picked up a lot of
Iron Crown is the Pokemon.
Got the booster energy to set itself up kind of
using the booster energy to be able to set up its abilities.
And then you can really punish your opponent
to make it stronger and to make it punish your opponents. So these are event winners. So you have the champion, who was Dylan Matthews, and the finalist was Carson Confer. We had here the Oakapon, which is wearing a water mask, the Indeedee, Iron Crown, Urshifu, Landorus, and Tornadus. On the opposing side, we have Oakapon, which is the rock one, Fluttermane, Ninetales, the normal Cantonian version, Urshifu, Tornadus, and the Girafarig evolution. Faragerig, I think it's called.
When you're playing around with that psychic terrain, you've got Helping Hand, and even some variants of Iron Crown run Terra Psychic for even more compounding multipliers.
So yeah, here they're saying about the difficult combinations that they were relying upon. Fluttermane was used as very much a support style Pokemon.
The Cantonian Ninetales is a real fascinating adaptation from Carson. Of course, otherwise you're looking at Torkoal, which is such a slow Pokemon.
Yeah, so they talk about how, you know, with Ninetales it's able to set up for Drought, so for fire moves, whereas you can actually do that also with Torkoal. However, with Torkoal it's a very slow Pokemon, and so cannot respond that effectively within time.
So many more trainers there in Houston. Let's take a look at some of the other teams in the top 8 of the Houston Regional Championship. Already called out the Prima.
So now they're actually going to be moving on to discussing about Houston. Let's have a quick look.
Premium in regulation set F, and Lucy Fleming's composition here is really interesting.
Yeah, a lot of great teams here. That Primarina, once again, it's one of those Tornadus-based teams that just really.
So this is the Houston Regionals. So in this case, they're actually quite powerful. You have here that is the Dylan Matthews, Carson Confer, Sahab Mufti, Justin Burns, Zach Emerson, Benjamin Harlan, Giovanni Chishk, and Lucy Fleming. So you, in this one you actually have a female representative. It's quite rare to get those, but it's nice that actually you do get some representative. A lot of these people were using Among Us, like several of these I can see use Among Us. A couple of them were using Raging Bolt as well, so these are also very common themes.
Here in regulations at F in Sevilla. You need to be following along, trainers. Oh yes, you do. If you want one central hub for all of the action to follow, Pokemon.com.
And then, yeah, they just talk about how you've got those broadcast access. But you can also follow these on YouTube and Twitch.
Get tweeting with the hashtag we know so well. Okay, Marcus, give me a beat. If you want to follow all along, use the hashtag PlayPokemon.
Oh dear, they're starting to rap. I think they're kind of showing their age in this case. I think when you get to a certain point, you can just go into. I think you can just go into the main gameplay rather than, you know, extending the. Right, okay, so now hopefully they're going into the gameplay itself. You just get some promo images to do with, like, this is what Seville looks like, so you get to see a little bit more to do with the architecture, a lot more to do with, you know, what makes it a nice place to kind of visit. It does look very nice, very peaceful. And here you've got the Pokemon Regional Championships. And so this is still representative of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. But remember that going forward for the next Worlds, you get the opportunity to play using Pokemon Champions.
championship points that could secure
and
their
yeah, they
spot
talk
at
about the
World
championship
2026
points
in
that you
San
get,
Francisco, California.
and the World Championships are going to be in San Francisco, California. So you've got Swiss rounds, which is a best of 3. So if you win 2 of 3, then you get to be able to proceed within the rounds, whereas other players get knocked out. Trainers must pass their division's point threshold to advance, so you have a certain requirement, and then phase 2 you've got Swiss rounds until top cut. So top cut is the top 8 players, then that gets narrowed down to 4, and then 2, which is the representative finals. It's a single elimination bracket, so if you lose once, then you've lost entirely.
Rise above the rest to claim the title of regional champion. Who will etch their name into the history books this weekend? And who will punch their ticket to Worlds 2026 in San Francisco? Don't miss a minute of the action. Stay tuned all weekend long to watch the battles unfold live. To stay up to date on future Play Pokemon events, visit championships.pokemon.com. Thank you very much.
Right, so it seems to be that they've set up for now having the first round. So you've got as broadcasters Costa, Diagnos, and Marcus Human.
The final regulation set F major event for this season, and who knows, maybe for the future. So this is going to be the opportunity for all of the trainers to be able to get all of those aces up their sleeves.
Yeah, and so this is the kind of final opportunity in regulation F. So this is a specific division until we get the change of rules.
Yes.
Check that out.
Hey, we got the sync going.
Yeah, we get some synergy going on. Okay, so what if I set the grass train
and I go for a sword dance?
For some grass glide later on?
Oh yeah, I'm down for that. Grass glide, of course. But I mean,
Right,
yeah,
so come on, they're going to be getting on with the match soon.
But then again, you never know. It can make a splash, as we know it always does. But we have got some notable matches for you, lovely folks, to be able to preview alongside us as we're going to be getting things ready.
So these are the notable matches that they're talking about. So you've got Marcus Coe versus Sam Tabner. So here you've got a legendary Pokemon. You do have the Dragonite. You've got the Galarian Weezing Fluttermane. And then the opponent is using an Urshifu, an Indeedee, a Tornadus, Iron Crown, Ogapon, the Fire one, and I can't see exactly what the final Pokemon is. Oh, it's the Regidrago. So that's the dragon version of the Regi monster, or Pokemon.
Marcus Coe against Sam Tabner.
Yeah, and Marcus was actually coming off a pretty strong Birmingham Regional.
Marcus did actually quite well in the Birmingham Regional.
Running the Galarian Weezing and the Dondozo Tatsugiri.
Yeah, the Dondozo Tatsugiri combination.
For the Fluttermane and Chi-Yu, which is so powerful when they are paired up. They've got such great synergy.
Yeah, we've seen this.
The two combination of Pokemon actually work quite well together.
After he really kind of popularized it at the Birmingham Regional Championships. And yeah, it's one of those teams you really don't want to go up against.
Yeah, they talked about how Dondozo and Tatsugiri work very well together actually in combination. They're designed to work with each other and has always been. And so actually, you know, they're able to kind of last a lot longer than other combinations of Pokemon. So they're just having a bit of a talk at the moment whilst they're getting up, setting up the game for them.
It was regulation set G where you had that one restricted available, but then again, Sam just going to show that he's really been putting in a lot of work. I've spoken to him countless of times. He's such a hard, consistent trainer in terms of...
Yeah, they talk about the consistency of the trainers, how they're very dedicated to the Pokemon that they have.
It's actually a battle between locals, if I'm not mistaken too, so they've gone up against each other quite a few times.
They have faced off against each other quite a few times in various Pokemon competitions. So interesting to see who comes out on top in this one.
In these tournaments, we were also seeing it with Gilberto against Francesco. Now here, Marcus against Sam. And yeah, you mentioned it, Sam last year here in Seville, I think he was the only player.
He was the only non-Spanish.
Make it into that.
Yeah, so Sam was the only non-Spanish player to make it into last year's tournament.
What he was able to accomplish here last year, and now he's back trying to look for some more championship points.
Yeah, exactly. And at this point, that's essentially what you're doing, because we know that we've got new formats that will be unfolding in the next couple of months, but right now...
Yeah, and they're looking at new formats as they get released, because obviously with Pokemon Champions coming out, once that releases, then you have instant access to those formats.
Version 1 in previous season, now we've got version 2 in this current one. The first regional event being Toronto back in January.
Yeah, the first regional event was back in January in Toronto, so that was the fresh season.
Iron Crown's just coming to the fore versus all of the balance.
Yeah, and there, Marcus Cole on the left-hand side, I think he's one of the strongest players with this archetype. Definitely not the player you want to go up against in the second round already, but Sam...
They all both look quite nervous in this case. Yeah, just wanting to have the match start, I think. We'll see how the game plans kind of go out.
Yeah, exactly.
But then they're just making a decision.
Just being able to go ahead and have that finalist placement in Birmingham couple of months.
Okay, so there we go. So these are the stats that they've got. So Marcus Coe actually was a Birmingham regional finalist. He won, well, it was Lidl region top 16, Singapore top 8, and Singapore Championships top 4 in 2024. And Sam got Seville top 8, EUIC top 64, Birmingham Regional top 64, and Dortmund Regional top 32.
Top 64 finishes in EUIC in Birmingham, as well as a top 32 in Dortmund. So definitely a player that knows how to do well.
From these stats, it's Marcus Coe that's definitely in favour. He's met far more of the more senior cuts. So Pokemon moves, you've got Chi-Yu, which has Heat Wave, Overheat, Dark Pulse, and Protect. You have the Weezing, which has Gunk Shot, Poison Gas, Poison, Toxic Spikes, and Protect. Dondozo is Water, Wave Crash, Aura Up, Earthquake, and Protect. Tatsugiri has the Draco Meteor, Muddy Water, Helping Hand, and Protect. Fluttermane has Moonblast, Dazzling Gleam, Icy Wind, and Protect. And Dragonite has the Extreme Speed, Iron Head, Earthquake, and Aerial Ace. So we've got a few like attackers, and then we've also got a few more defensive Pokemon.
Using a Pokemon like Chi-Yu, so powerful, but then well, that accuracy of Heat Wave and Overheat can...
So they're just signing the match slips and just kind of wishing each other luck.
Team sheets now will have a better look.
Yeah, so they'll be able to just see the team sheets for the representatives. So Sam has Ogerpon, which is the fire version. It has Follow Me, Ivy Cudgel, Woodhammer, and Spiky Shield. The Indeedee has Follow Me, Helping Hand, Prism, and Trick Room. The Urshifu has Surging Strikes, Close Combat, Taunt, and Detect. The Tornadus has Bleak Wind Storm, Icy Wind, Protect, and Tailwind. Iron Crown has the Expanding Force, Tachyon Cutter, Calm Mind, and Protect. And the Reggie Drago has Dragon Energy, Draco Meteor, Earth Power, and Protect. So you've got a combination of physical and special attackers. In terms of support Pokemon, I can only really see the Indeedee as support. Everything else is very much just hit you as hard as possible, whether it be a physical attacker or a special attacker.
And suss out essentially what sort of court drive training this Iron Crown has undergone.
Yeah, with the open team sheet format, of course, players get a decent idea of what their opponent is bringing, but that is one of the key information that is not being highlighted there on that sheet.
The information on the sheets provide like, a breakdown of what the Pokemon use and the moves and typings and everything, but you don't necessarily know how they're going to be interacting with those Pokemon and use them specifically.
So that can be a key thing in this matchup because, yeah, Iron Crown can definitely outpace the boosted Dondozo if it has the speed booster. And at the same time, I think, yeah, Marcus will have to think about how to remove this Iron Crown.
So now here we go for the start of round 1. So we've got the Dondozo and the Dragonite versus the Ogerpon and the Tornadus.
Versus Sam's Ogerpon and the Tornado. So all of a sudden you've got a situation where speed control is available on Sam's side, but also being able to directly threaten the Dondozo, but the Dragonite may have a word or two to say here.
Yeah, it's already this mind game. With Dondozo on the field, well, is Marcus just going to...
Right, so they're kind of working out the plays, seeing how they're going to interact.
Protect from Dondozo.
Interesting thing is the... okay, so... he is going to choose... What are you going to choose? Is that, okay, so you're using Protect on the Dondozo, and Aerial Ace is on the Tornadus, which is going to be wasted, because he's used Protect as well. Spiky Shield, so double protects basically. Dondozo's used Protect, so that covers that. And the Aerial Ace is going to fail.
Suss out a potential Tatsugiri switching, like you mentioned, but also see which move this choice band locked Dragonite has essentially. Okay,
so next move.
Yeah, and with that information now, Sam can make a better decision into the second turn. Very advanced play there, because of course now.
So 30-second move time
expect
left.
That the switch is coming out into the Tatsugiri, but once again it's still a little bit of a mind game, because
and he is going to choose
into the grass type to shrug off.
I'm going to choose Wave Crash.
But then you would of course to shrug off a Woodhammer, but then you would make yourself weak to Ivy Catch.
Yeah, Wave Crash.
Nice,
and then swapping the Dragonite out.
With leads, even though nothing has really happened, I think already Sam looking to be in a decent
okay, so he's bringing out the Tatsugiri.
That's the beauty of being able to pace yourself in terms of getting the
and it's using the Commander effect.
Marcus into a scenario where you either have to play around with Protects or try to
Dondozo's attack and special attack sharply increased, as well as its speed, and defense and special defense, so all stats massively increased. Tornadus is using Tailwind to boost up his science speed. The Woodhammer is going to do just under half damage.
It does incur a bit of chip damage due to the Rocky Helmet as well as the recoil.
Yeah, and a lot of recoil going on this turn.
Wave Crash is going to take out the Ogerpon.
Wave Crash, getting that KO on Ogerpon, which had to take some recoil there before as well.
And it's taking some recoil through a Wave Crash effect.
It's carrying Rocky Helmet, so no recovery for this Pokemon, and it's already
Regidrago has been brought out to replace.
If it's able to outpace Dondozo, then I think it might just go down this turn or the next turn. Maybe
there's a move they're going to use as a Tailwind. That's already in effect.
But I think just going for maybe a Bleak Wind Storm and Dragon Energy should send that Dondozo
what they're going to use here.
Yeah, and this is sort of the beauty of being able to essentially corner the Dondozo out.
They're going to use Wave Crash on the... Well, it's going to use Wave Crash on the Tornadus. Oh, okay. So, yeah, there's a connection, but it doesn't do massive damage, and also the speed is reduced. Dragon Energy is going to take out the Dondozo.
And this now allows Sam to still have, if I'm not mistaken, one more turn of Tailwind available after this one ends.
And so Tatsugiri is now kind of exposed.
A sneak preview, the Flutter Mane, to boost the energy is in the back mark.
Yeah, Flutter Mane, of course, the perfect Pokemon to have against Regidrago, but because Marcus was kind of locked into this Dondozo positioning, was unable to switch it in there, but now has
he's debating what Pokemon he wants to switch in.
Can then maybe try and make the most use out of Tatsugiri. I think that is one of the crucial topics when talking about using a Dondozo-based team the best way. Dondozo, of course, is the star of the show, but once Dondozo goes down...
is he going to use the Flutter Mane? He's going to make a choice soon. Yeah, he's bringing in his Flutter Mane.
Not as strong without Dondozo by its side, but Flutter Mane joining the field now.
And Flutter Mane is going to use
and maybe make
speed is increased.
Just a little bit easier.
here. Yeah, and that's essentially what you want to be able to do at this point.
And
You just want to
I
be
believe
able
he's going to
take
use
advantage
Ice
of
Wind
the
to hit
board,
both of his opponent's Pokemon.
Piece, which definitely is that Flutter Mane, given the fact that it's just going to be able to nullify and shrug off all of the Dragon-type moves coming from the Regidrago. So being able to find it to this point and force into an awkward scenario with Tornadus is probably just going to go on the offensive.
And Tatsugiri is going to just use
Sam,
Protect.
I think it's about, well, up until this point, everything went according to plan. You were able to get rid of the Dozo without taking too much damage, but now the important part of the battle begins, because how do you continue with this momentum, and how can you kind of take the win that seems to be already there? But yeah, there's still 3 healthy Pokemon for Marcus that you need to go.
Okay, so we've got
we got the Terra Steel. So
Terra Steel being put into play.
Any sort of weakness to those powerful fairy type moves, as well as the Icy Wind that most likely is inbound. Tatsugiri going for the Protect, like you called out there, Marcus. Icy Wind.
Okay, so Icy Wind is going to miss from the Tornadus, and then he's going to use it on the Flutter Mane.
We'll have to take the -1.
The -1 on speed. Regidrago has gone into the Tatsugiri, which is obviously under Protect. Icy Wind is now working, and it's not done too much damage on either of the opponents, but it does reduce both their speed stats.
Not allow the Flutter Mane to take advantage of staggered speed drops.
Yeah, definitely a lot these players will have to take account for, because, well, with the Icy Wind drop,
so
speed boost on the Flutter Mane,
what's he going to go for now?
The Tailwind's still up, and Sam deciding there to go for a little bit of a read that Tatsugiri
Dusk Flame,
into the Steel type
and
to shrug off those Dragon type moves
the
just a little bit
Tatsugiri,
better.
he's going to go with
I'm ready
is
for
it
this
Muddy Water?
I can cover it with Earth Power, and now the mind game once again is going to be, okay, well, if there's going to be an Earth Power, do you even want to go for that Terrestrialization? And it's
so the Tornadus has gone with Protect.
And Tornadus goes for the Protect, wants to make sure that it's still going to be available in order to get another Tailwind set up.
Yeah, so he'll be able to use Tailwind probably for the next turn. Regidrago takes very little damage. He's using the Dragon Energy to take out Tatsugiri.
Absolute KO onto the Tatsugiri. It's able to outpace it there. Quite crucial in terms of the training, given the scenario, and will, of course, incur a bit of chip damage via the Life Orb recall, but the Tailwind does now expire.
Yeah, Sam going 1 level above, kind of, saying that, okay, previous turn, I showed that I have Earth Power, so now you will be afraid of that Earth Power, and instead I'm going to go for Dragon Energy.
So now he's brought out the Dragonite, so that's the opponent's already seen the Dragonite, as that was one of the Pokemon in.
Once more, but because it is the Choice Band variant, it will have to make a decision here. It will have to lock into one move. Yeah, I think, well, Extreme Speed still probably the best option for Dragonite.
I think he's going to be using Moon Blast on the Regidrago,
very difficult for Marcus
and
to get rid of.
he's going to Terrestrialize into...
Marcus here is the fact that Extreme Speed has a higher priority than Tailwind. Tailwind has just expired, so if Dragonite can...
It's a normal Dragonite.
And then Flutter Mane can outspeed this Regidrago, maybe we can see a big turn here for Marcus.
And he's going to use Extreme Speed. And it takes out the Tornadus.
For the Tornadus to be able to have any sort of chance to survive that, it does get taken down. The Flutter Mane
has used the Moon Blast.
But there's also potential of dropping special attack.
And a drop in the special attack. Draco Meteor is going to take a little bit of damage for the Dragonite, but because of the stat reduction.
About 111 health points really means that Marcus has a lot of
and now he's got Urshifu out.
It is going to be that Urshifu, which does have a Focus Sash.
Okay, so we've got a Dazzling Gleam.
Draco Meteor, through the multi-scale, not strong enough to do decent damage to Dragonite, and so, yeah, I think the move that Marcus locked in there, Extreme Speed and Dazzling Gleam, it won't be enough to knock out Regidrago, but it might be enough, or it's certainly enough to knock out this Urshifu, so what can Sam even try and do about it? Maybe protecting Urshifu and going for a Draco Meteor.
So in this case, yeah, we're just waiting on the decision. And, well, let's see what they're doing.
The protect play seems to be quite obvious.
Okay, so Urshifu uses Detect.
Okay, alright, so Marcus, Which target have you gone for? Oh,
And then we've got the extreme speed into the Urshifu, so that's a waste. Dazzling Gleam is also hitting the Urshifu, so it's a waste on both. Oh, Regidrago's near the end. Oh, the Dragon Meteor is not enough to take Dragonite. And also there's been a reduction in the special attack.
It looks like he's been able to sweep up this game 1.
Yeah, it looks like it's special attack drop means Dragonite can take this second Draco Meteor, and now with another combination of
so I think he's going to use extreme speed again.
Cole can clean the game and kind of reverse it here.
Yeah.
Even after losing Dondozo quite early on.
And the Dazzling Gleam was enough to take out both Pokemon in one go.
Showing how good of a player he is with his team.
Yeah, truly, and how comfortable he is as well in order to be able to make the tough decision of, okay, when do I burn up or utilize that Terra option? We saw, and like
so it was able to use the Terra Pokemon actually quite well.
It does have Terra Steel. It had the option of trying to go for it in order to be able to resist the Dragon type move coming out from the Regidrago, but had to be susceptible and wary of the Earth power being able to pick up the KO there. So Marcus A had to factor that in, committed with just not terrestrializing, but then said,
and so he decided not to terrestrialize using the Tatsugiri, which could have been Steel type, but again that would have been subject to moves used by ground, such as Earth power.
Because already at the very, very first turn of the battle, you could have thought, oh, there's an Ogerpon over on the other side, there's a Woodhammer threatening, maybe the Dondozo should terrestrialize into the grass type. And then we had the situation in the mid-game with Tatsugiri against Regidrago. Oh, maybe Tatsugiri should terrestrialize into the steel type to resist the dragon type attacks, but no.
So yeah, that's actually quite good. So Marcus has won 1-0. Again, this is a best of 3 event, so whomever wins 2 of the 3 games, so if Marcus wins the second one, then he's won through this round. If Sam's able to come back and clinch this, then it comes down to a tiebreak, which whomever wins the second of, in the third round will go on to the next round. So they're just preparing everything, just having the details written down, just signing and agreeing to everything for the next round. Yeah, as I was saying, they're talking about how they knew that every time Regidrago was using a Draco Meteor, because the other Pokemon had already been switched out, there was no way of switching it out to get back the special attack drops that happened to it. So because of that, they kind of knew that the Dragonite would remain safe. And now we've got the this is the second round. Okay, so there has been a bit of a change. Sam is keeping out with the same Pokemon. He's got the Ogerpon and the Tornadus. Marcus is now using his Dondozo, but he's also got the Chi-Yu, which is the legendary Pokemon.
That was in that spot, so there are a couple of different scenarios that could play out here. Most likely, the Ogerpon is going to naturally be faster than the Chi-Yu, as well as the Tornadus, depending on the training, of course. Because Focus Sash on the Chi-Yu does mean that you could allow any investment in speed.
So in this case, yeah, a Tornadus is using Protect. I think they would have detected that anyway, so I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. I think, oh, come on, of course the adverts.
I start by brain dumping everything I need to get done. What do you commit?
So there we go.
Go for the offensive from Sam's side or defense, but it looks like
here we have the Ogerpon using the Spiky Shield. Dondozo's gone with Protect. And Chi-Yu is using Heat Wave. So with the double Protect status, it's not going to impact anyone. And this is something that the opponent actually knows. There's a switching from the Dondozo into the Dragonite.
In the same spot like in the first game, where Tatsugiri could switch in, and once again, then it could be the Woodhammer, it could be the Ivory.
Come on, let's see where you're going.
But that was a favorable trade for Marcus in the end. So maybe Sam is actually thinking about switching out their Ogerpon.
We'll see whether they're switching anything out, or whether they're actually going to make any difference to the game.
At the same time, you also have to be afraid of Marcus just swapping out Dondozo and going for an attack with GU, as right now GU is not really threatened. And if there's the
Dondozo, yeah, as I said, it's going to be switched out for the Dragonite.
Right? Yeah, and based off of the play from Marcus in game 1, or his general sort of aptitude of the Terra, not wanting to be committed.
Okay, so we've got a Terrestrialization on the opponent's team, which is the Ogerpon, and that's going to be a Terra Fire type.
Wow, but that is a commit here by Sam going for the Terra Fire. Did Sam make the read and go after GU? I cannot believe it.
Oh, we're going to have to find out. Tailwind.
Okay, so Tailwind's come into effect by Tornadus, and that will speed up the team for 3 turns. And then Ivy Cudgel is being used against the Dragonites. It's not very effective. Heat Wave is done a lot of damage to Tornadus, it's more than half the health, but it's barely done anything to the Ogerpon.
Yeah, of course, Ogerpon now also...
Now we've got a Dark Pulse.
This could have been even worse, but I must say it's not a great turn of events here for Sam. Well, he does now kind of have confirmation of all...
Okay, so let's see the moves. Okay, so yeah, he's going to attack into the Tornadus with Extreme Speed. And the Dark Pulse... Okay, so the opponent's Ogerpon's going to use Spiky Shield.
Yeah, did Sam call Marcus's target?
And the Extreme Speed is enough to take out the Tornadus.
And that's, I would say, relatively safe, because it's probably going to be a Dark Pulse into the...
yeah, the Dark Pulse has gone into the Ogerpon.
Make sure that you capitalize off of just the targets ahead of you. But then again, Sam, we saw in that game 1, didn't want to bring in the Psychic Terrain or any sort of female Indeedee, Iron Crown mode, because it just doesn't feel like it's going to be able to get as much gauge and mileage as it wants. But it's going to be the Regidrago again.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, now they're bringing out the Regidrago.
While Marcus can just stall out this Tailwind, only 2 more turns left, and we have already seen how nice Extreme Speed is.
We'll see as he gone with Extreme Speed again. Yeah, because it's a choice band set.
Priority move and hitting first, and it is hitting hard. In this game, Regidrago will not be able to go for the Terra Steel like in the first game, so Extreme Speed could be a valid option there to just reduce its HP and weaken the Dragon Energy. However, yeah, Chiyu is still on the field, so
is the Extreme Speed going to go for the Regidrago?
And there's a chance that Sam maybe is just going for a little bit of a...
And then the Dark Pulse... or is it... Oh, Chiyu's using Protect.
As we got the Chiyu now going on the defensive, respecting the Tailwind. That is available.
And then the Extreme Speed takes more than half the damage for Regidrago.
Over half on the Regidrago, as the Woodhammer's trying to finally break that focus sash on the Chiyu, especially accompanied by that Dragon Energy, surely would have been able to be enough because of all the various multipliers. But Dragonite is down.
And the Dragonite's gone down by Dragon Energy.
Chiyu is still on the field, has its sash intact, but which Pokemon do you bring in right now? Dondozo?
Dondozo's coming out.
Yeah, and I think you can just go for a round of Protects here for Marcus, and then you will have a field day with Earthquake, because
okay, so we have
Earthquake
Protect from Dondozo, and we've got
attempts from Ogerpon.
What is that?
Yeah, Extreme Speed, very important move there, because it puts Regidrago into KO range for any move here for Dondozo, and so yeah, I think once again Marcus was able to navigate into a position where, yeah, Dondozo now is going to do the trick. So the first game really went a whole different way, but Marcus showing that he has different options to play this team, is very, very versatile in how he plays it. But yeah, I think with a couple of defensive
so the Chiyu is being switched out.
It's going to be really, really tough for Sam to make something happen.
For Tatsugiri.
Really will, because Sam's lost his key utility piece being the Tornado.
And then obviously the command's ability works with the Dondozo.
Game 1, Game 2 as well.
And then his stats will sharply increase.
The Dondozo most likely is going to be able to outpace that Ogerpon once the Tailwind has expired. But then again, it depends on the training. I'm not sure if we got that confirmation in Game 1.
Yeah, Dondozo used Protect.
No, but like, historically speaking, Marcus really tended to favor really, really fast.
Ivy Cudgel is going to miss because of the Protect, and Earth Power is not going to work either.
But we don't have...
But it was interesting it was being used against the Tatsugiri.
to circumnavigate around it, but there's so much pressure from Marcus's Dondozo right now with the Commander boost.
Or maybe Marcus changed something up with their Dondozo, and Sam's Ogrepon can outpace it. Let's see though. Okay, Spike.
So Spiker's Shield is going to be used by the Ogrepon.
Sam is also aware of the fact that this Dondozo is probably a
And the Earthquake is going to avoid from Tatsugiri.
Let the Regidrago go down here in order to be able to bring in that final Pokemon.
He's been able to take out the Regidrago with Order Up.
Hopefully pick up the KO, the necessary one needed on this Dondozo, but it's going to be the Urshifu, which means...
Okay, so Urshifu's come out.
Attacking the Dondozo that has a Rocky Helmet will break the Focus Sash because of the contact aspect of the move.
Is it going to be an Earthquake?
And so just like that, Dondozo with Earthquake. Is it going to be enough to knock out Ogrepon? I think so. Dondozo does outspeed, confirming it is a very, very speedy version. And it's
so Ogrepon's been taken out, and Urshifu's taken quite a bit of damage to start off with.
Mascot for this event. Going down, and with only Urshifu left, Sam has to see the writing on the wall.
Yeah, exactly. And even if that was a critical hit, I don't think it would have been enough.
Okay, so the defense has gone down and the special defense has gone down. That's from the close combat.
In this set versus Sam, two UK
Oh, the battle was cancelled. So okay. So he has surrendered. Sam surrenders.
Yeah, just goes to show why Marcus is really synonymously used with this archetype, really showing in many tournaments before just the whole potential of this Dondozo team.
That's interesting. Normally most players don't try and surrender, but I suppose the writing was on the wall.
We didn't get to see it this game around.
So he's just decided, okay, I'm not going to waste any more time. I'm just going to have the the Pokemon is not going to work, so I need to get rid.
Dondozo out there saying, okay, you have to deal with this. You have to do something about Dondozo, or it's going to keep on.
Yeah, Dondozo kept being kind of the dominant threat in both matches.
In the second game, switching things up, switching in Dragonite, allowing Chiyu to get off one big heat wave, and that is just tipping the scale in Marcus's favor with getting a lot of.
So they're just reviewing the gameplay here. There was a lot to do with the combination 1-2 of the Dondozo with the Tatsugiri.
Commonly see as much, being able to just guarantee that KO onto the Ogrepon early on in that game 1 because of the Rocky Hammer, because of the Wood Hammer, chip damage, and being able to be bulky enough to take all of the offensive prowess. And Regidrago opting to go for Terra Steel wasn't quite enough. There were a couple of cool mind games between Marcus and Sam in that game 1, but what ended up taking it all is the Dragonite Terra Normal.
Yeah, the Dragonite Terra Normal was enough to just wipe out using the extreme speed and the boost that it received from the normal Terra type typing.
Marcus very quickly. Sam clearly didn't bring the female Indeedee in Iron Crown mode. However, you'd normally think, okay, against Dondozo doesn't make sense, Calm Mind boost essentially don't do much, right? But this is an oblivious Dondozo. It's not unaware. So do you feel like there could have been a line where Sam could have leaned in?
Okay, so they're talking about the ability differences. It was an oblivious Dondozo, so that means it's not going to get impacted by kind of infatuation or confusion. Whereas unaware Dondozo, unaware as an ability means that it just disregards any of your opponent's boosts.
Even with the boosts, but that is something that Marcus is willing to invest because he knows just how important that little fella is and how important.
That's really interesting. Actually, because he kind of poorly judged the ability of the Pokemon, and this made it actually worse for him.
Similar matchups. Usually, you don't get the time to set up Calm Mind.
Yeah, and the other thing is, even if they were to bring in the Indeedee, there's no guarantee that there would have been a situation where they would have been able to get all the maximum boosts.
Or maybe Sam didn't play a player of Marcus's caliber with his team yet, and maybe what he was doing there was usually working because maybe their opponents were switching in their Tatsugiri preemptively.
They were switching in and out actually quite a few times, so there was more so on Marcus's side, which were tactical changes to the Pokemon that he had, whereas with Sam, he didn't really change. He only kind of brought out new Pokemon out when they were beaten in battle, and basically enforced the change.
get that finalist spot in Birmingham a couple of months ago. But he's not the only trainer that has been able to perform with these six, which has
Okay,
proven
so
to have
yeah,
a lot of
this
notoriety,
is just
as we've got
these guys have used apparently these all top performing Pokemon as a team. So you've got Marcus is the most recent. You also have Victor Jumez. He also made it to Birmingham Regionals top 32. You've got Yuki Zanakov, who made it to top 8 in San Juan in 2026, and you have Stephen Morioka, who made it top 16 Houston Regionals in 2026 as well. So these 6 Pokemon are very commonly used by actually top competitors. Or I would say the top 32 is just in top.
Being able to capitalize off of all of the different layers to it, you've got a way to be able to suppress.
Yeah, you need to be able to understand the gaming engineering of the Pokemon. It's interesting to see that the Weezing wasn't used at all. It was pretty much disregarded in the teams. And the Fluttermane was switched out, I think, for the second round to go for the Chi-Yu instead.
Those physical Pokemon that capitalize off of contact moves like the Focus Sash Urshifu. You've got the Rillaboons as well, where you've got that mind game of do you commit.
Yeah, they're talking about how the interaction of the different physical types of Pokemon, such as Dondozo, was actually been, and combining that with Chi-Yu, who would go into special attack emphasis. Okay, so are they coming up with the? Yeah, they're just doing an interview with the winner of the first round.
Great win. And how are you feeling after that great start today?
Oh, I'm feeling happy. Of course, a 2-0 start is great, but we are still pretty early in the day.
Yeah, he's happy with his performance, but he wants to take things round by round, which I think is smart, because if you're thinking you're going to win already at this stage, you just don't know what's going to happen.
You haven't really changed up the team from then, or you might have made some tweaks. We'll not get into the details. I don't want to reveal too much, but you must be feeling quite comfortable with the team at this point, at this stage of the format.
Yeah, there hasn't been any real major changes to the Pokemon team that he brought this time versus the team he chose to bring about from the previous, the EUIC.
To just go for one last ride and do my best with the same 6.
Yeah, it makes sense. I think with the success that you've had with this team, and not only the success, but I think the understanding of the team as well. I think
there's a general understanding of the team, knowing exactly what was necessary for the Pokemon that he wanted to use in combination.
Really kind of showcased it there in that match against Sam, where I think a lot of the time when you say Tatsugiri Dondozo, you feel like it's going to be a stally, slow game. But
yeah, so they thought it was going to be like a stall-based strategy to make sure that the opponent wasn't able to do much. But he's chosen to go with an offensive combination.
But I think with my team, I have the tools to mix up and either go on the offense as needed or play defensive when needed. So I think that
you was able to use a combination of both strategies, as he's saying, between both the offense and defense.
Well, because in game 1 in particular, you were sitting in front of the Regidrago, and you had the Tatsugiri, and it does have the Terra Steel there. But knowing that you had the Dragonite in the back, was there a moment where you thought, I could terrestrialize Tatsugiri here, or were you always...
He's talking about whether he wanted to terrestrialize the Tatsugiri or whether it was going to be the Dragonite.
Terrestrializing that, and then extreme speed's going to get me the victory that I need.
Yeah, so I did consider going for Terra Steel on the Tatsugiri, but because I knew I still had the Dragonite at the back with the multi-scale still intact.
Yeah, the multi-scale ability was still intact, so it provided a little bit more protection. It just made more sense for him to be able to do that rather than to go straight into whatever he chose instead. He wants to preserve both the Fluttermane and the Dragonite as kind of his key base for the Pokemon.
Sam, as a player who came into Seville last year and finished top 8.
Sam made it to top 8 in the previous
last season. And he actually piloted a Dondozo Tatsugiri team to that top 8 finish. So
and he's also used that combination as well. So it's interesting that it was used against him in this case.
Very familiar with it, and then overcome them in such convincing fashion. I think it's just another testament to how strong you are with the team. And are you feeling confident coming into this weekend? Or are you kind of just taking it game by game at this point? Yeah, sorry, first of all, also kudos to Sam. He really kept it.
Yeah, so he's congratulating Sam for the effort that he put into the gameplay and what he's been able to do.
The team he used last year was pretty different with the Cadillacs and
But he's talking about the differences in the game that he's facing now, as was opposed to previously within the rounds.
I guess the challenge for him was still to be able to be prepared for how I would particularly.
He wanted to know how Marcus was going to actually interact using that combination of Pokemon.
Yeah, I mean, I trust the team.
But yeah, he says he trusts the team. But yeah, he's just there. He's going to try his best to get whatever regional and qualification he can within the Pokemon tournament.
You're doing really well in the championship leader.
He said in terms of the
800 championship points so far this season.
Over 800 champion points so far within the season.
To push on to try and get as many championship points to secure.
And he wants to be able to secure his place to the World Championships.
I'm hoping to secure my spot to compete at the World Championships because, to be honest, I'm not really keen on playing Reg I, so I'm actually dropping from Prague after this weekend, although I've already registered.
What is the plan for the remaining events for the season? Will you be competing in Turin or?
No, I don't intend to compete in any more events because I actually have 0 local CP so far. So if push comes to shove, I'll just go to some locals and hopefully should have enough points to make the World's qualification.
And then it'll give you enough time.
Okay, so he's looking for doing a lot more of the local rounds, local scenes, because he's got what he believes to be the most points necessary.
Throughout Regulation F. Was there any other teams that you looked at that might have swayed you into using them?
Yeah, they're asking about whether there was any additional team settings and combinations of Pokemon that I was looking to review.
So actually, I was pretty interested in Carson Converse team, which he used to get second place at the Houston Regional Championships just last weekend. I feel it's a pretty strong team with a lot of tools that gives it pretty good matchups into most of the common teams in the meta nowadays. But given the lead up to Seville was just 1 week after that, I decided to just stick with what
he wanted to stick to his team because even though he saw that there was a combination of Pokemon that was being used in Houston, because there's only a week difference, there was no point in making any sort of changes.
Here at the venue or anyone at home that might be watching before we let you go?
Oh yes, of course, plenty of shout-outs.
And then just asking if he has any shout-outs to... Yeah, so he's talking about, thanking his people from Spain.
I really appreciate the support together with his friend Carlos as well. And other than that, also huge thank you to my Dondozo group from Japan, Chenya and Yuki, for helping me to prepare for the past few regulations.
He's had a few people who've helped him kind of prepare for the rounds.
From Singapore for helping me to prepare, as well as my other friends from Cambridge who've been supporting me throughout. And also thanks to my professors at Cambridge for always supporting me in balancing my studies and competing in this wonderful
He's studying at the University of Cambridge, and he's still doing this. That's interesting.
Well, thank you so much, Marcus. Lots of people supporting you and rooting you on this weekend, and I'm sure we're going to see more of you. Good luck in the rest of the tournament. We're going to be right back. Get yourselves a beverage because we'll be starting round 3 of the Seville Special Championship very soon.
Okay, so the next round is coming up in a second. Just after this kind of promotional break. So Swiss round 3 is coming up next.
I got into first-person Pokemon when I moved to Los Angeles in 2015. I was looking at a way to make friends. I was like, oh, I like Pokemon, let me try this so I can make friends, and then been playing ever since.
So yeah, that's happening in the next 7 and a bit minutes. But yeah, he's talking about how, the different Pokemon they've got, the different rounds that they've, and the different friends that he's made in combination.
What drives me to compete in Pokemon is honestly just to have an opportunity to hang out with my friends. I only get a chance to see these people a few times a year. It's just a really fun experience.
They talk about the experiences that he's been able to have whilst he's been able to compete at these high-level tournaments.
My 4v1 comeback with my Dragonite.
They had a 4v1 comeback with just a Dragonite. That was clearly Sun and Moon, which took out both the Nihilego and the Hariyama.
Honestly, my number one goal is to become the world champion.
Yeah, he's looking at, obviously, he made the top cuts back in 2016.
And it only gets more and more difficult every can say I accomplished what I wanted to with Pokemon. One of the things I learned very early on is like I like to make my own teams. I like to just
he likes to make his own teams, as he says, and that's translated quite well into some of the games he's played. Yeah, he is going by what he thinks is necessary to be successful for himself. So, okay, so these are just quick trainer tips. How to balance playing Pokemon in your personal life.
I actually work for a major airline.
Okay, so yeah.
So we do double, so 16-hour shifts.
She's doing 16-hour shifts and she's still playing Pokemon.
Which I'm doing right now. And then I was just playing.
And then she has her time off.
You just kind of find within yourself and make sure Pokemon Go is like an outlet.
Okay, so Pokemon Go for him is a bit of an outlet, a way of relaxing.
A chore or liability. And when I find I get balance, then I enjoy the game the most.
I work part-time while I'm also going to college.
Okay, so this one is working part-time whilst he's also going to college.
And then if I have any extra time, I'll just...
And he has the extra time, so he'll play a bit of Pokemon.
Harder than it looks, but as long as you focus and just keep your goals in line, you can definitely like achieve it. But also, don't be afraid that like every now and then you can take a break. You can just play some practice matches or just go to local.
Yeah, so sometimes this one likes to just go to local tournaments, not always in the massive competitive sphere, so that she gets a bit of a break.
10 miles in a venue, but it's fun. I love it.
It's mostly trying to find direct time between when I work at night and...
So, yeah, this one works at night and sometimes works a day job as well.
Trying to at least find little moments here and there to at least practice on live and at least try and get some practice for events like this, or try to find some local leagues, at least that on the Pokemon website. It should be alright if you find out time for that. The balance for me is this is a thing I only do once in a while, and I do.
Okay, so in this case, this one does play once in a while, so it's not a constant thing. So it's about 4 minutes until the next match round. This is Luca Ceribelli, who won the VG Masters Championships in 2024.
But just how did he get to that hallowed position? Charlie Merriman here, trainers, to take you through Luca's path to the peak. He attended his very first competitive Pokemon event in 2017, finishing with a respectable 4 wins and 3.
So he started off actually in 2017, so he's had quite a long time in the game and has been part of the Italian VGC community.
Luca claimed his first title as the 2017 Turin Special Events Champion.
Yeah, he was the Turin Special Events Champion.
Luca was frustrated not to be doing himself justice. In fact, he was even on the verge of quitting Pokemon VG altogether. But having qualified for the 2022 World Championships in London...
Yeah, he qualified in 2022 for the Pokemon Championships based in London.
Luca Ceribelli was back. Worlds 2023 in Yokohama...
In Worlds 2023, he went to Yokohama.
But was hungry for more. Similarly, at the Europe International Championship...
And the EUIC...
He went all the way to top cut, but still knew
he managed to get into the top cut.
The very best at Worlds 2024 in Honolulu.
In Worlds 2024 in Honolulu,
until all of a sudden he found himself in the grand finals.
He managed to make it to the grand finals.
The night before, Luca went out for dinner with his friends to take his mind off it all, paving the way for a good night's sleep and focused preparation on the big day. Identifying that his trusty Miraidon's Draco Meteor hit nearly all of his opponent's team for good damage, Luca won game 1.
Yeah, so he won game 1.
Came down to one final battle. And with Miraidon,
he lost to game 2.
Pokemon Half-Flame Mask Ogerpon, Luca Ceribelli secured his spot in history.
And yeah, he won the 3rd.
Rush into the arms of the friends who made attending events.
And yeah, he went to go and see the friends who'd come out to see him win.
In the phrase we all know so well, you teach me and I'll teach you. As for what's next for Luca, well, in his own words, I'm not letting winning worlds be a hindrance to my growth as a player. I'm not just hiding behind I won the World Championships. Trainers, the best.
He is going to be continuing to improve himself. That's what he's saying.
Pokemon.com/play. Who knows? It could be your first step towards becoming our new world champion.
Okay, so he is now facing off. These are just kind of promotional stuff to do with, you know, if you want to get these special, like, things related to Pokemon. That's just something to do with Quaxley, Sprigatito, and Fuecoco. It's a little animation thing.
Marcus, I heard you were going to come dressed as a Pikachu, and I was going to do the same, but I didn't want to mimic you. Welcome back to
Oh dear.
Seville Special Championship.
So now we've got Charlie Merriman and Marcus Harmon.
We got Apom.
Yeah, we have some fake out bros. Maybe the next generation already training.
I feel like Apom is the cheeky younger cousin.
Yeah,
you know? Yeah.
the fake out bros.
Yeah. He's the one that they're rearing, you know.
So yeah, they're heading into the next round. Just discussing a couple of
some more
bits and
friends
pieces.
all around here. Yeah, like to see that, and also of course like to see some competitive Pokemon action here in Seville for the Special Championships. What a first round to get started for us to get into the action, right?
It's very swift, wasn't it? Marcus Co. Absolutely.
Yeah, so Marcus did really well. He just got through very quickly.
Months ago now. What's going on, Marcus? Is time going fast for you?
Yeah.
That's absolutely crazy.
So maybe it's the Dialga doing his little work somewhere.
Absolutely. He's riding on our Dialga steeds all the way to Sevilla. Could Marcus go all the way and become our Seville Special champion?
Not this one. Not this Marcus.
Not this Marcus.
The other one.
Could Marcus Co. become our champion this weekend? Time will tell. But from the people to the Pokemon, let's take a look at our usage stats. What are the Pokemon that trainers are backing coming into the
So they're now looking at the usage stats. So these are the top 12 Pokemon. So you've got Urshifu, Incineroar, Fluttermane, Tornadus, Landorus, Rillaboom, Among Us, Raging Bolt. I can't remember the one of the legendaries, the Ice Tiger one. Two types of Ogerpon, the Fire one and the Water one, and the Dragonite. So that's quite a combination of different typings there. You've got a Fighting Water, a Fire, Dark, a Ghost Fairy, a Pure Flying, a Ground Flying, a Grass Poison, a Electric Dragon, a Dark Ice, a Grass Fire, a Grass Water, and a Dragon Flying. So yeah, you've got quite a combination. It's not favouring any specifics.
When we're heading into phase 2, how this is changing up.
Yeah. The single strike Urshifu, of course, had such a stunning performance at Houston last weekend, I believe.
But my only concern with that is actually you're not using much of a variety.
You've got Tornadus and Landorus right next to each other. Tornadus just has the edge there. Thundurus is nowhere to be seen, even though it had such a fantastic performance at EUIC.
No, it's ironic. Thundurus is the third of those kind of magical genie types of Pokemon, but it hasn't actually seen anything of any type of attention. It's the other two that are very popular.
With sheer force, Life Orb is just so powerful. The only thing it lacks maybe a little bit is speed, but there's a Tornadus that can help with that. And, well, as long as there's no Articuno or Alolan Ninetales around, those two, synergize quite nicely.
And then we've got the Ogerpon brothers as well, or sisters, perhaps. Ogerpon Half-Flame and Ogerpon Wellspring, of course. They're right next to each other. I'm surprised how many of these Pokemon that are so similar or of the same kind are next to each other on this graphic. I guess you could also talk about the long-necked bros with Raging Bolt and Frigoroth. But of course, Frigoroth isn't there. Raging Bolt is very much the star of the show when it comes to Regulation Set F. Although, it's a Pokemon that hasn't been on as many winning teams in Regulation Set F than I might
We're talking about Raging Bolt, how it, even though it's kind of popular, it has not been on many winning teams recently. So these are just not necessarily the most powerful, but actually just the most frequently shown and used by players within all tournaments, I think, regardless of their standing. So it's not like these are what the top 32 will use. It's more like this is what everyone who's competing in this tournament is holding on to. And these are just the stats for this.
It was on your Birmingham top 8 team, wasn't it, Marcus?
Yeah, absolutely. I was using the Life Orb though, not the regular Calm Mind one. Instead, going on the all-out offensive.
That clearly worked pretty well for you.
Yeah, quite good. Thank you.
Would you be backing it this weekend, the Life Orb?
Well, I think maybe Calm Mind is a little bit more consistent, but yeah, I would be running back the Life Orb if I get to decide. But yeah, let's have a look at some of our other players who are.
So now they're going to be looking at the other players that they've got.
To watch that, yeah, we'll have a little bit of an eye out.
The players to watch are Iker Rodrigo, Victor Medina, and Francesco Piero.
Last year's Sevilla special champion. And we've got Victor Medina here as well, Francesco Piero. Victor, that trainer who is looking for that first major win. Of course, he's been in so many top cup positions, he's been in so many finalist positions, but could it finally be their time here at the Seville Special Championships? And Francesco Piero, Marcus, of course, who was running that Thunderous that we mentioned before, and a trainer who was third place, I believe, at EUIC. It was third or fourth place, at least in the...
Yeah, so Francesco has won, well, he came third or fourth place for the EUIC, the latest one, and he was running a Thunderous on his team.
Iker currently at a 2-0 record, winning both the first 2 rounds. Then Victor currently at a 1-1, actually losing the very first round of the tournament, but climbing back after that. And then Francesco also at a 2-0, undefeated so far. So our players to watch are doing quite well, I would say, so far.
So they talk about how the players are doing quite well, just overall.
See how it's going. What do you think about the 2 fairy type plushes that are featured here on the screen?
I was just about to say that screen tail is looking so smug on the Francesco's scarf. I don't know how he's done that. Has he put it to himself? That's defying gravity is Francesco Piero. We'll ride on our broomstick over to Victor's Fluttermane here. It's a lovely plush, that one, isn't it? It looks like a very cuddly one. Same with the screen tail, just a big old marshmallow. Would like to see more screen tail in Regulation ZF. It's another fairy type, it's another past Paradox Pokemon, of course, but Fluttermane is very much the queen.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Sitting there at second place in the usage statistics. I mean, Screamtail, it was showing up every now and then, but if you need a fairy type, then usually it is Fluttermane in this format.
Yeah, Iker not with the plush. Maybe that was a plush switch. I doubt it, but oh well. Let's hope that the plush metagame keeps evolving. But Iker, our champion from last year in Seville, that was, of course, Regulation Set G. In fact, I think it was the very last event of Regulation Set G, and this weekend is the last of Regulation Set F. Let's take a look at Iker as a player, their achievements, how we think Iker's going to be doing it this weekend. Because a trainer who really rose to
okay, so they're looking at Iker Rodrigo. So Seville champion 2025 EUIC, top 128 in 2025, Lille Regional top 64 in 2025, and Utrecht top 8 in 2024.
Just so Pokemon like Incineroar don't run too rampant, but clearly Iker didn't mind about that.
Yeah, I mean, that is exactly the type of style that he brought to the table also last year here in Seville, with so many physical attackers, and then you have the Qianpao for some extra damage boosts, because of course with the sort of Ruin, you lower defensive stats of everything, so physical damage will be even greater, and then you also have multiple ways of playing against Incineroar, for example, Defiant King Gambit, because he had Incineroar so annoying for a lot of physical attackers. And coming after this top 8 finish at Utrecht, I think we're talking about this last time as well, where it seems like those special championships are really where Iker knows how to shine, winning one in Seville last year and with a top 8 at Utrecht. And now, well, he's back, as I said, currently 2-0, ready to add another good finish here in Seville to his accolades.
Coming away with a huge amount of booster packs as well, ready to trade with their friends. So from Iker now to another Spanish player, Victor Medina. Let's remind ourselves of the phenomenal achievements Victor has under their belts. I mean, look at this, 2 times World's top 8.
Okay, so now we're looking at Victor Medina. So he's won Frankfurt Regional Finalist 2026, LAIC Finalist 2025, NAIC, so North American top 4 in 2023, and 2 times world top 8 as well. So that's that is quite a pedigree to go through.
Top 4 at 2022 EUIC, and that didn't even make the graphic just because of how many great finishes he has had.
He's had so many
also being another regional
benefits that actually and titles that they can't actually fit it on the screen.
Definitely, it came close on so many different occasions, but yeah, still looking to add that title, the #1, the gold medal, to his cabinet of trophies. And yeah, he's trying to do this time with his Trick Room-based team, Cresselia, Fluttermane, Ursaluna, a very strong team as well that we've also seen show up a few times throughout this regulation.
Yeah, Cresselia is a Pokemon that's really been rising to the fore. So bulky. It's so hard to remove from the field. It's a Pokemon that you just have to keep chipping away at, and it might not look at any particular... look like
so here they're talking about how the use of Cresselia and a couple of other Pokemon has made a bit of difference.
Chip you on this turn later in the game, that's going to make my life so much easier.
Yeah, and then let's have a look at Francesco's player profile. We got a little glimpse at the team he's bringing earlier on in the notable matches, but he was able
and then we've got the Francesco Pero, which is top 4 in the EUIC, top 8 in the NAIC 2025, Stuttgart regional finalist in 2025, and world's top 64 in 2024. So it's quite consistent as well. That is also a top player.
To playing that again, and then also being a regional finalist, but once more one of those players that has done well so many times. Also a multiple-time online tournament winner, but in big offline tournaments, he's still looking for that big win as well.
I love seeing this rain composition that Francesco is bringing this weekend. I might have mentioned to you before, Marcus, Francesco inspired me back in the Sword and Shield era to run a Gigantamax Blastoise team.
Oh, yes.
I had the most fun. It was physical Regieleki as well. Clearly he's a fan of these water types, isn't he? Fan of the rain. So we'll see if he's going to make the sun go away and make it all overcast here in Seville. It's absolutely beautiful weather here, I got to say. And last year, the Seville Special Championship was in April. It was about a month later. This time the temperature is really pleasant. Last year, I think for you and I, Marcus, it was a little bit hot. We had to apply that factor 50 or maybe make it factor 100 sun cream.
Yeah, Francesco, one of those players that is really trying to maybe swim a little bit against the metagame in some ways, always trying to build a team for events that is maybe not out there yet, and that he can maybe, with his group of players, his building group, bring to success.
They're hoping that actually that this is going to make a bit of a difference, that they're going to actually do quite well from this matches. There's an expectation of those 3 to make somewhere near the top cut.
And also, how many Regidrago are we going to be seeing out there?
We're going to see more Regidrago, as one of the presenters has said.
So, what if you want to attend some regional championships or any special championships? How will you be able to sign up?
Yeah, how does that work?
So they're talking about how you'd be able to sign up or to either compete or spectate on the day.
Okay, go to rk9.gg/event/Pokemon, and that's how you can sign up for these tournaments. We'd love to see you here. Whether you're a veteran or whether you're a newcomer, we know that you'll have the time of your life here, just sharing your passion for Pokemon with like-minded people. And such a friendly community it is as well. Not every time you sit down in front of your opponent, you just have a nice chat for your very first round. Sure, you're probably going to be feeling a little bit nervous, but they will be there to put your nerves at rest. And also, it's a community that really thrives on feedback. They love helping each other. This turn, maybe I would have done this, and that would have put you in X, Y, Z position.
Yeah, so they're saying that actually, if you wanted to attend as your first, there's always a bit of a community that is trying to encourage you to come out and be able to be part of the game.
Yeah, I think the second round is almost over.
They're about to hit the second round.
Setting things up for the next round, but before that, we will take a very short break. Gives you time to maybe
they're gonna take a very short break,
with more action here,
and then they'll be coming back with the round as it is.
In many VGC formats, the same Pokemon rise to the top again and again, putting the spotlight on thorough preparation and precise.
Yeah, they're talking about how lots of different Pokemon actually keep kind of coming up, and that a lot of players will be using these, so it's actually being able to study what your opponent is going to use in their strategy, which becomes more important as players kind of calculate what is the best type of Pokemon. So they're looking at, in this case, Pokemon Regionals Dortmund in 2025.
Team building was everywhere, but the finals came down to Matty Morgan and Davide Miraglia. Matty was chasing his second regional win, while Davide hadn't been this deep in a tournament since 2016.
So the first one, he is very, the veteran. The other one had not been very competitive since 2016. Davide got 1 point for a victory already, and he had a terrestrialized water primate, and was able to win his first major title. Pokemon Regionals in Lille in 2025. We have a former EUIC champion versus Victor Medina.
Game 1. Choice Specs Ninetales
Choice Spec Ninetales used a move which caused the Corviknight to freeze. Corviknight was stacked with boosting moves and then took down the Ninetales.
An incredible freeze and even survived on 1 hit point. It looked like Victor's moment, but Nils wasn't done. He unleashed a lethal combo of Terra Psychic Indeedee and Sneasler, completing the comeback and taking the title.
Okay, yeah, so he beat him for that, and then we've got Pokemon Region Dansk. So you've got a Rain squad versus a Sun squad. Federico Camporesi and Marco Silva.
Marco made some great calls and forced out Pelipper early. With this, he managed to get weather control and cruise.
So yeah, weather control was in there.
Federico gambled on a Terra Dark Sucker Punch read that failed. But with his back against the wall, Pelipper connected a desperate Hurricane in the sun.
Pelipper was able to use a Hurricane to cause confusion on the Porygon 2. It's another advert.
Whoa, what's that? I just put the budgeting app in base 44. Guys, need to just...
Okay, so we're back to it.
Led to a wild endgame where King Gambit and Pelipper actually won under the sun, tying the set. Game 3, Federico
so it was a 1-1.
For the first time.
You've got King Gambit and Basculegion. Basculegion used flip turn on the Charizard and Last Respects on the Porygon 2 and dominated, winning him his first major trophy.
Added 6 brand new champions to the list, meaning that every winning team so far, Davide's, Nils's, and now Federico's, featured completely unique Pokemon.
They used completely unique Pokemon which hadn't been used within the mainstream.
Would have helped, showing just how wide open and creative this format truly was. But with one European regional left, the big question was, would we crown a 4th team of unique champions?
So this was the final
finally rise again. For the last
in final regional Pokemon Regionals Stuttgart in 2025. So we had a Sun team.
Eden Bachelor against Francesco Piopero in the final.
Eden Bachelor versus Francesco.
But both chasing their first major offline title.
And they were both looking for their major title.
In game 1, Eden made a great call, pivoting Ursaluna Blood Moon into Arcalodon's Electroshock.
Eden actually used the Ursaluna.
Francesco adapted in game 2, targeting Incineroar early and navigating
Francesco got rid of the Incineroar very early.
In the decider, Francesco revealed Basculegion, but Eden diffused the threat with Intimidate, traded Incineroar for it, and returned to their strongest position.
So Eden faced off and used Intimidate.
To become the final European regional champion of the
but
4 tournaments.
Victor was Eden Bachelor.
And 4 incredible champions, each with their own unique team. In total, 22 different Pokemon claimed the spotlight as
Okay, so 22 different Pokemon actually claim the spotlight for, you know, not using the same standard fare.
And it's back for the first half of 2026, with even more stories waiting to be written. What was your favorite Regulation H moment? Share it with us using the hashtag #PlayPokemon.
Welcome back, trainers.
Okay, so they're back.
Championships, yeah, reliving some moments there from the regulation set H.
So they're looking at regulation set H,
about regulation F,
and now they're on regulation F.
Come on, joined here by Charlie Merriman. And
this has been Charlie Merriman and Marcus Hamann, who are the hosts.
Being the last weekend of that regulation, is there something in particular you are looking forward to seeing?
The rest is still unwritten, and what I would like to see is a return to Articuno and Alolan Ninetales.
They're looking for a return of Articuno and Alolan Ninetales as a power duo.
We saw, of course, we were reminded of the Corviknight being frozen in the Lille finals between Nils and Victor Medina. And of course, we had in Utrecht, the last time we had regulators at F, we had this Articuno Ninetales already piloting that and went ahead and won the tournament. Articuno, first major win. It was so cool. No pun intended with the ice trainers. And to see some freezes.
Seeing how the use of freezing was effective in that tournament.
To just seeing some of the best players in the world battle it out one last
They're
time.
looking at what the best the players can use in Regulation F. And now they're ready for the next round.
At home, decide which game will be
the round 3 battles. So we've got Javier Senarina versus Ruben Bianzini. I believe they're going to be the first up.
Really great lineup.
Yeah, I love this. I mean, David Barton, shout out to our fellow caster, with a fascinating team of Paradox Pokemon, Gouting Fire, Walking Wake, Iron Crown, going up against Santiago Molina, who got Eduardo Cunha, our 2022 World Champion, against Femi. Ruben Gianzini, Bologna champion from a couple of seasons ago and finalist last season, going up against Javier Senorena. Salvatore Rega and Davide Fazio as well. Davide with a fantastic performance at UIC just a month ago. And Salvatore sort of harking back to teams that did well earlier on in regulation.
Salvatore, they're talking about at the moment.
Yeah, and with David Partington and Santiago Molina, we have this another Dondozo team there going up against David.
They have another combination Dondozo and Tatsurigi team.
From the past and the future, a little bit of an interesting, unique mix-up here, coming out with Gouting Fire, Iron Crown, and Walking Wake, and then, the world champion, Eduardo Cunha, also joining that Psychic Surge train, going up against Femi.
All aboard, trainers. I do like some Psychic Terrain, expanding force action.
Yeah, so how do you make this decision? You can hop over onto our Twitch chat, where there's going to be a poll with all.
They had a poll about who they think was going to win each of the games.
Round 3 in Seville. Usually this is the point where I would say, you can't really make a decision. So many great games, but
there are different combination of different games that can actually be played.
I don't know, Charlie, do you have any favorites that you would really want to see?
I mean, again, I would, if I had to choose one, then I'd love to show some love to our fellow caster David and that really unique team, of course. Initially piloted by Jamie Boyd, but we'd love to see what you want to see, trainers. That's what it's all about. You dictate the action here. Vote in the Twitch chat. We want to know which of these matches you'd like us to bring to you. And, I mean, either way, you're going to have a fantastic time. So just go into instinct. What jumps out at you, trainers? And the caliber of trainers out there. The number of trainers out there as well. Seville, a very popular event, a very beautiful
We'll see how they fare exactly.
Hosting all of these trainers here, and it's an honour to have you joining us on the stream. So let us know on Twitch. Let us know what you want to see. We can't wait to bring it to you.
Yeah, I just casted my vote, so let's see. Let's see what we'll have. Just kidding. But again, so many great players already in this early stage of the tournament still, of course. If you're traveling to Seville, if you're traveling for any of these tournaments, of course, always also a little bit of a debate. that I like to discuss with some players. Do you want to face the big names early to maybe get a win? And then
Yeah, then talk about, do you want to face some of the biggest people first if you have to travel to the events, or would you like to face off against some of the weaker opponents first, given the amount of expense and time that you've had to make that journey?
Well, they will have the luxury of playing against a really, really strong opponent in this next round.
Yeah, absolutely that. When you face the top players sooner or later in the tournament, to be the best, you of course have to beat the best. Get on over to Twitch and let us know what match you want to be seeing. Mark, let me return to your question you asked earlier. What team would you like to see this weekend? I said a lot of Tails and Articuno.
Yeah, I think, well, the team that I really enjoyed the most using in this regulation is that Raging Bolt team.
So they're now going into looking at the Raging Bolt team. They're saying it's the high-level gameplay.
But I'm also very open to learning about some new strategies and new teams. So I think, yeah, my vote is going to be just any team that we haven't really seen yet.
Right, he wants to see teams that he's not seen before.
In this format,
just to see how the format will be pushed and tested.
Kind of the limits? Are these the best teams? The ones that
they're looking at, are these the best teams, or actually is this just because these are common patterns amongst the players so far?
Where people are going to be like, oh yeah, why didn't I?
Why didn't I think that? Why didn't I go with that strategy? So there are a lot of players who will be thinking, especially when the new combination of different move sets gets used, and how unpredictable certain game states can be.
But from Houston back to Seville, we've got the results ready. Let's take a look at what you have voted for.
Okay, so voting wise, they're going to be brought the David Partington versus Santiago Molina.
Well, I'm very excited indeed to see all these Paradox Pokemon.
Because obviously they can only show so many matches at one go, whilst all the other matches are kind of being taken on. Bear in mind that was a live stream, and so I'm actually viewing this from the live stream itself. That's why it comes down to a voting system as to what people wanted to see. So with David Partington, he has the Gouging of Fire, Indeedee, Iron Crown, I don't know what that fourth Pokemon is, Whimsicott and Landorus, and Santiago Molina has got the GU Dragonite, the Poison Rock one, that's, I can't remember its name, that's used by the champion, Tornadus, Tatsugiri, and Dondozo.
Yeah, it's really unlike anything we've seen so far, and I'm really beyond excited to seeing how David will navigate this matchup.
Yeah, really fascinating as well, Mark, as you called it out earlier when we were talking about Houston, how there was 0 Rillaboom in the Houston top 8, and we've only got a couple here. Really fascinating. If you were to tell me that
Let's talk about how Rillaboom, who's one of the most popular Pokemon, it's not actually got too much of an appearance in this one. It is used on the Javier Sonorina's team, and it's also used in Davide Fazio's team. So 2 teams out of the 8.
Was deemed to be very important in order to have a matchup against those teams. But as the Psychic teams kind of were built better and better, and more practice was put in, I think at this point, the Psychic players kind of identified how to really play against Rillaboom in the best way. And because the best Rillaboom set for a long time was deemed to be one with high horsepower instead of U-turn.
Yeah, they're looking at how the best Rillaboom set was the high horsepower rather than U-turn as a predictable contest.
That helpful in this matchup at all if you're running high horsepower, so you have to come up with a different way.
So yeah, they're looking at whether additional strategies were actually having to be used to substitute for very predictable movesets.
Kind of the level that you can reach with a Psychic Surge-based strategy even higher if you don't even have to worry about terrain control at all.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I wonder if we were to have regulations at F for a little bit longer, whether Rillaboom we would start to see rising to the fore again, and maybe more with U-turn. Thank you very much for that explanation there, Marcus. Of course, we don't really have much electric terrain or misty terrain at all, the other 2 that we have access to, because the Pokemon that set it up, they, I don't know, maybe leave something a little bit to be desired. Pink Urchin isn't going to be the most powerful Pokemon, and otherwise you've got Galarian Weezing, but if you're running that, neutralizing gas is such a incredible, unique ability that it's hard to overlook that and go for the Misty Surge instead. Yeah, but in future formats, I look forward to seeing those other terrains coming back.
Yeah, for sure. But for now, for the longest time, it's been a lot about the grassy terrain and the psychic terrain, and that is also what we will see.
Yeah, so they're looking at grassy terrain and as one of the main terrain sets.
He was playing on stream from the player side.
No. I know that he was competing at EUIC. We were both competing at EUIC.
Yep.
And he did well there. I think it went 5-3. But yeah, in terms of playing on stream, I know that he, of course, won regional championships with a Murkrow, but that was 2019? 2019, yeah, I thought it was 2019.
Quite a while ago, but yeah, we will talk about that a little bit more when he comes on stream, because, of course, nowadays, David, mostly known as being a caster, but he definitely can also play really, really well, and yeah, he will show what he can do with this. Well, I don't want to call it crazy, but it's a little bit out there, right? This team?
It's absolutely out there, and it's no less than we'd expect than one built initially by Jamie Boyd. Yeah, we got the future with Iron Crown, we got the path with Gouging Fire and Walking Away. What's fascinating, of course, is that the most popular of those Path, Paradox, Legendary Beast Pokemon is the other one, Raging Ball, but it's the one that's nowhere to be seen on David's team. And look at this really fantastic new desk that we have here, glimmering in all its glory.
So yeah, they're just getting the players kind of set up, so it shouldn't be too long to go.
Desk, which, I don't know, I don't really see those attributes in it.
Glimmering in all his glory is David on the left-hand side, and glimmering in all his glory is also Glimora over on Santi's side of the team. Yeah, Santiago, looking forward to doing well here with this Dondozo team. I actually played against them all the way back in the Birmingham Regional Championships, where they were using the Kerry Dortona team with a
So yeah, they're just looking through this and
we're also doing quite well there, but switching things up
just managing their situation. They're getting themselves set up.
Meta game to speak of, I'm afraid, trainers, but I'm sure we'll see those mascot plushies on stream shortly. Oh, is that a ferret that the judge is rocking? That's very sweet. I love that. Little supportive friend. I do enjoy ferret. Mox, what's your favourite of those Route 1 normal type Pokemon?
Oh, ferret.
Tatters and Centras.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah, I have the little plushie as well.
Nice.
It's really, really cute, and it just keeps on walking, you know.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think I would say ferret too, but I am a big fan of Zigzagoon as well. I have to say, there's something about it. I don't know. Linoon as well. I guess he takes a leaf out of Ferret's book, actually, being long, slender, running around.
Are you a fan of Zigzagoon, or are you a fan of Zigzagoon?
Huh?
Never mind.
We'll have to explain that one to you. But now we will zigzag go on into the team preview and, of course, the achievements of these incredible players. Now, David, of course, reached the top 16 at the Lille Regional Championships in 2022, and that was, in fact, my first ever live Pokemon event. That's where I met David for the first time, and he went ahead to reach the top 16.
So yeah, they're just setting themselves up. Hopefully that shouldn't be too much longer. Next couple of minutes.
And of course, Santiago.
They are. Yeah, he's looking in terms of records. There's a lot more with Santiago Molina. He's got the Birmingham Regional top 32, NAIC top 128 in 2025, Bologna top 16, 2025, and EUIC top 4 for 2024, whereas David Partington has Lille Regional top 16 in 2022. And the Bristol Regional Champions 2019, so he's not got too much to his name at the moment.
Great one there, both players getting ready, getting comfortable. I think you can see David looking forward to playing this match, and there we have it. It's the choice band, Gouging Fire.
So in terms of the teams, you've got the Gouging Fire, so that's got a Flare Blitz, Heat Crash, Dragon Claw, and Breaking Swipe. You've got Whimsicott, which is the Moonblast, Tailwind, Sunny Day, and Light Scream. Walking Wake, you have the Hydro Stream, the Draco Meteor, the Dragon Pulse and Flamethrower. Indeedee has Follow Me, Helping Hand, Heal Pulse, and Trick Room. The Iron Crown has Attack and Center, Expanding Force, Calm Mind, and Protect. And you've got Landorus, who's got Earth Power, Psychic, Calm Mind, and Protect.
himself so much better. The expanding forces, the Landorus, will hopefully be shrugging off. I love how hyper-offensive it is with the choice band and the choice specs. Just wanted to carve through teams quickly. What's fascinating about this matchup is, of course, that Santiago running the Tatsugiri Dondozo wants to take things slower. So I'm looking forward to seeing how David is going to be denying them that opportunity. And I just want to call out briefly as well, the Terra Electric on Whimsicott.
Yeah, because why not?
Yeah, of course. Just go the whole hog. But now we'll go all the way over to Santiago's team.
And now into Santiago's team. Let's see what they've got.
Still some differences there as David is waiting for that fist bump. Good, thank you for not leaving him hanging there, Santiago. We got Chi, we got Dragonite, Dondozo, Tatsugiri.
So in this team, you've got Chiyu, Heat, which has Heat Wave, Dark Pulse, Overheat, and Protect. You have Dragonite, which is Iron Head, Aerial Ace, Extreme Speed, and Stomping Tantrum. Dondozo has Protect, Wave Crash, Earthquake, and Order Up. That's the same actual moveset as the previous winner, who was that Marcus. Tatsugiri has Sleep Talk, Muddy Water, Draco Meteor, and Icy Wind. Glimora has Mortal Spin, Power Gem, Sludge Bomb, and Dazzling Gleam. And Tornadus has Tailwind, Taunt, Bleakland Storm, and Protect.
But also maybe could come in handy against some of the Dragon-type moves coming out from the Walking Wake and the Gouging Fire. Maybe that's something we'll have to watch out for. Yeah, unlike the Dondozo we saw before from Marcus Cole, this one has Unaware and Leftovers, so it might be trained to be a little bit more bulky, a little bit more defensive, leaning a little bit more into that kind of stall, poison tick route, rather than going for this really, really offensive way that Marcus Cole likes to play Dondozo.
Yeah, I mean, looking at David's team, you've got the Iron Crown, that's obviously taking no damage from poison-type moves. You also have no poison Pokemon, so they can't switch in and soak up those toxic spikes that could be left on the field from the toxic debris.
So that's interesting, because there is no Pokemon that has the no poison Pokemon on that team, that he can't take up the toxic spikes if that gets laid on and set up.
Try and get off these dragon type moves. The Dondozo of Santiago is the Terra Grass, so all of a sudden then Gouging Fire's Choice Banded, Flare Blitz, and Heatcraft become all the more powerful. But let's see what these trainers think.
So yeah, now they're into the match itself.
In the lead, I got Indeedee and Iron Crown, this classic psychic combination coming out for David.
Yeah, David making use of that psychic terrain right away. And let's see now, we talked about this in the previous round, whose strategy going off. We have to pay attention.
So yeah, we have the combination of the Indeedee and the Iron Crown versus Chiyu and Dondozo.
So a lot of extra stats for David right before this very first turn. And now Indeedee, of course, could go ahead and go for, say, a Follow Me. We have to be careful. Chiyu, of course, carrying Heatwave to bypass that. The Iron Crown is the Terra Dragon, so that could match up nicely also into potential Water-type attacks coming out from Dondozo.
So here we have
Dondozo teams. Turn 1 is always already a little bit of a mind game.
Okay, so we've got Trick Room being set up, and
right away, or there could
is it going to be Expanding Force or? Yeah, he's going to use Expanding Force on Dondozo.
In the previous round, and already a big decision here for David to make.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, Dondozo is using Protect, so that's going to be worthless.
From that, but it's going to stay. The Chiyu at Dondozo goes for the Protect, and it's just the one shot thanks to the Beads of Ruin, reducing the special defense of Iron Crown. Goodbye, and the Expanding Force has gone with it.
The Iron Crown is gone.
He's able to set up the Trick Room.
Yeah, great play there by Santiago, identifying that, well, Dark Pulse hits everything here, both Indeedee and Iron Crown for a ton of damage, and because there is no terrestrialization on Iron Crown, we often see it go for, say, Terra Water, Terra Blast, or Terra Fighting Terra Blast. That
so now we have the Walking Weight that's been replaced.
Have a great way of hitting that Chiyu at all, so pretty safe move coming out from Santiago, and, well, David did get up the Trick Room, but since Santi didn't commit to the Dondozo-Tatsugiri combination, Dondozo now might actually benefit from this Trick Room.
Yeah, Dondozo a really slow Pokemon. I would have got a double boost to its speed, of course, had Tatsugiri swapped in. So, Walking Wake, I mean, it's not doing it terribly on the field. You match up with Chiyu fairly nicely. Dondozo would threaten it with a super effective Order Up, but with no boosts, Walking Wake should be able to deal pretty well with that. With the choice specs, though, you're really threatening the Chiyu here, so
okay, so this, what we're going to do now?
It's going to be the
Okay, so it's
Yeah,
Dondozo has been swapped out.
Once again, still, David doesn't have the greatest way of dealing with Chiyu, since Ndidi doesn't
into
have any
Tornadus.
It cannot hit Chiyu, and it cannot break the focus sash, so Chiyu is guaranteed to get off at least one more attack. As Walking Wake now going on the offensive, presumably with a Terra Water.
Yeah, Terra Water maximising the damage of those water-type moves. Helping Hand too, love to see this.
So we've got a Helping Hand being used.
Play here, but just what move will it be locking into? Dark Pulse will be going next.
We've got Dark Pulse that's going up against the Ndidi. And the Walking Wake is using Dragon Pulse against Tornadus, and Tornadus gets knocked out.
Another one-hit KO. That Tornadus is down, and with it, there goes Santiago's speed control for when the Trick Room expires.
Wow, okay. Tornadus in the back, I guess, with Trick Room already being up. Not the most helpful here anyway, but now, I mean, with this Terra Water, as you were saying, Walking Wake no longer weak to order up from Dondozo. So even if Tatsugiri was switching in, boosting it up...
And so, yeah, the Walking Wake has the Terra Water at the moment.
So therefore, I think what Santi could do is go for a combination of, say, Wave Crash from the Dondozo without any Tatsugiri switching in to knock out Ndidi, and then we already saw Chiyu is faster than Walking Wake under Trick Room, so then Chiyu could follow it up with a big Dark Pulse into Walking Wake.
Will that be what plays out? Santiago apparently has the three fish. We assume it's Tatsugiri in the back, but can that Genie Tornadus grant Santiago's wish?
Okay, so Dondozo is used Protect.
As Dondozo gets that Protect off, no damage heading into that slot. Follow me.
Ndidi is using Follow Me.
That loves to be the star of the show, keeping the Walking Wake all the safer. Dark Pulse is going to be easily enough.
Dark Pulse is enough to get rid of the Ndidi.
To Pokemon now. Where did this Walking Wake target? If it's into the Chiyu, then that could be an advantage that David can claw back.
Yeah, so Dragon Pulse is going into the Chiyu.
It's not going to be enough for the KO. It's holding the Focus Sash anyway, but it's really nice. It should be in range now.
Whimsicott's coming out
Whimsicott in the back, and you've still got
to replace the Ndidi.
Trick Room. Feels like David's sequencing is a little bit out of order.
Yeah, setting up Trick Room was a nice attempt against the boosted Dondozo to keep that in check, but now it's really coming back to bite David here a little bit. Important to note, yeah, Encore is not on the moveset of Whimsicott. It wouldn't work under the psychic terrain anyway.
So in terms of what else are we focusing on? Is it going to be a sunny day?
A little bit and activating the photosynthesis on Walking Wake. But yeah, indeed, it doesn't really have a great way.
We've got Tailwind,
right now. Maybe
Light Screen, Moonblast.
Faster than Chiyu, and Moonblast gets the KO from this range. That could be something.
And the Dragon Pulse is going up against Dondozo. Chiyu's been swapped out.
The Walking Wake and the Whimsicott, the last remaining two Pokemon.
Well, speaking of trusted duo,
and that's been swapped out for Tatsugiri.
Duo, Tatsugiri and Dondozo. Now, of course, Dondozo is going to get maximised in its stats. As I maximise, it's +2, but sometimes it feels like maximised.
Pretty high.
Yeah, when you're trying to take one down. Does it Dondozo have now what it takes? A reminder, it moves Wave Crash, Earthquake, and Order Up alongside the Protect. And spamming that Earthquake, you're going to get a huge amount done. Of course, David targeted into the Tatsugiri slot, which meant that there's no damage from the Moonblast.
There's no damage for the Tatsugiri.
Dondozo, it's not bad. It's about a quarter.
Order Up is doing a lot of damage to the Walking Wake.
Dondozo is boosting its attack here as well.
Yeah,
and it gets an attack boost.
From the leftovers, so it will be a tough mountain to climb for Whimsicott and Walking Wake. Now, one thing that I would say was good for David was the fact that Walking Wake was moving first, was moving before Dondozo here. So now, at least one more hit coming out from Walking Wake, but with this additional attack boost, will Dondozo be able to get the KO? I think that's going to be crucial here to determine the winner of this battle.
David is going to amplify the offense even more with the sunny day, the photosynthesis boosting the special.
Then we've got the Dragon Pulse, which is being used against Dondozo.
Now that Dondozo in range of just one more hit.
And using Aura Up to take out the Walking Wake.
Attack boost, the Curly Form Tatsugiri. And now it's Whimsicott against the world. And let's not forget, of course, as well as the Tatsugiri that's lurking in Dondozo's mouth, you've got the Chiyu in the back as well. It's had its focus half broken, but Whimsicott isn't necessarily the Pokemon you'd want to be able to clear up a game.
Yeah, I think this turn, this KO probably decided the fate of this match because, yeah, with 3 against 1, Whimsicott won't be able to do that.
Yeah, so
however,
the...
I think it also showed that the game was much closer than it looked like initially, because had Walking Wake taken this additional order up, the next turn Quick Room was over. You can go for a Tailwind and Dragon Pulse, potentially
Let's
knocking
see
out
what they're
Dondozo,
going
and
with.
then all of a sudden you have the speed advantage, and then Whimsicott and Walking Wake can maybe clean the game from there. I think let's not forget Santi also still had Terrestrialization available, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Oh, is the player going to quit?
Still could have played a role, but
okay, so he's conceded the first round.
Game 1 goes to Santi.
I mean, to be fair, Dondozo only could do either resisted or attacks that were immune into the Whimsicott with Wave.
So Santiago Molina has won round 1 because David Parkinson has conceded the first round.
Pokemon to deal with. Chances are that Whimsicott didn't have what it took, and David recognised that. And so into game 2 we go, and it felt like, in the turn 1, just not getting the advantage, certainly out of that Iron Crown that you would like to see. It just went down immediately.
Yeah, I mean, that Dark Pulse, with the speed tiers, how they were, it definitely benefiting Santiago there. And he then kept the momentum up from this first turn. Big KO. And I think David definitely has to reassess this approach a little bit.
Yeah, so they're saying that David has to reassess the situation to see kind of what is having to be done.
So that just leaves you very, very weak to the Chiyu. And this is also what we saw. And good decision by Santiago also to lock into Dark Pulse, as Whimsicott was the only resistance there. Sometimes
locking into the Dark Pulse was a good idea for the Chiyu, because the only resisted Pokemon to that move is the Whimsicott, because that's part Fairy type.
Like Iron Crown as well, and then Dark Pulse is just very, very difficult.
The Dark Pulse is quite difficult to manage.
You don't have a lot of offense against,
and also it has the ability to flinch partially as well.
To switch up things in a significant way. I think maybe going with either Walking Wake or Landorus early on, just to get rid of Chiyu, that would be the approach to choose for game 2. However, of course,
so they're just setting up for the second round.
You keep it around for later for facing this Indeedee and Iron Crown combination.
This, in my mind, is the biggest weakness of the Carmine Iron Crown. The fact that there is no longer any room for Terra Blast, and namely Terra Blast Water that we often see on Iron Crown, just gives it so much less flexibility in that sense. But of course, Carmine Iron Crown's been doing so well. It's not like David doesn't have the tools to deal with Chiyu. Oh no, not at all.
Okay, so this second round is starting. So David's made a bit of a change. So he's got the Whimsicott and the Gouging Fire, and the opponent is using the same combination as they had in round 1, which was the Chiyu and Dondozo combo.
And usually it goes for a booster energy to boost its speed, but on this team it's actually a little bit different, because instead of using the booster energy, it will use Whimsicott's Tailwind to gain a speed advantage, and then also gets the Choice Band for extra damage. With the Terra Fire, can do a lot of damage. However, over on Santiago's side, 2 Pokemon that...
So we have potentially a Tailwind being set up by the Whimsicott.
The Breaking Swipe. Maybe it's once again, it could be one of those cases where you want to Terra out of the weakness to order up.
And he's going to be using a Breaking Swipe.
And then depending on what David has in the back, that might be
Dondozo uses Protect, so it's not going to be effective this turn. Tailwind's used. I'll boost the speed for 2 turns. Gouging Fire's got a Breaking Swipe, which is blocked by the Dondozo. It's done a little under half health damage to Chiyu, but Whimsicott's been defeated.
Goodbye, it's going down. The Tailwind's been set up, and often that's all Whimsicott needs to do. Although it would have been nice to have had the option for a sunny day later on in the game for these Protosynthesis Pokemon.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It means you get one of your attackers onto the field, though, and this...
Okay, so he's now gone into the Walking Wake.
So ignoring any boosts, but it's also ignoring any drops. So you could freely lock into Draco Meteor if you wanted to. However, we just saw how the Chiyu can probably take another one of those Breaking Swipes, and you really wouldn't want Chiyu to hang around for another turn. So do you try and target down Chiyu, or do you just
So looking at whether they should target into the Chiyu or whether they should start going into the Dondozo.
Going for the double target on the Dondozo. That's once again a crucial decision to make, and once again we see David taking his sweet time. But I think Draco Meteor and Breaking Swipe seems like an onslaught of dragon type attacks is the way
Okay,
to go
so
here.
Chiyun's been swapped out, and I'm guessing that's for Tatsugiri again.
Riding that monster truck all the way onto the field and into Dondozo's mouth, so getting the right call this time around. It's unsurprising to see David such a long time to lock into those moves there because, yeah, if you target that Tatsugiri slot, no damage is being dealt, but makes the right call this time around. I really love this position for David so much more than in the previous game. The Draco Meteor connects, and it's going to be taking that Dondozo just below half, even with all those boosts. Thanks to that Tatsugiri driving the Dondozo in its mouth, Tatsugiri the driven, and now the breaking swipe means that
breaking swipe reduces Dondozo's attack by 1. The earthquake is going to do a lot of damage to the gouging fire, partial damage to the walking wake.
Yeah, now I think, well, I guess the next turn is going to be protect from Dondozo, just to stall out another turn of Tailwind. And get a little bit more recovery from leftovers. But then, if Draco Meteor gets the KO, we saw it move first just now, then Draco Meteor knocks out Dondozo, and then Breaking Swipe will go and hit into the Tatsugiri. So this could be a huge damage trade for David that he was able to set up here. Though it will come down maybe to a little bit of how the damage will go in this next turn. This turn, I think, yeah, I'm definitely expecting protect from Santiago's Dondozo.
Yeah, you could also, if you're confident that the Draco Meteor is going to get
so
because again,
they're going to swap in. So Gouging Fire has been swapped in for Ndidi.
And that means you'll be able to get 2 KOs in 1. But as it is, Gouging Fire just going to switch out, anticipating this protect. And Ndidi coming in
to introduce the Psychic Surge.
To boot, but it will be able to go for those helping hands, and that should mean that Draco Meteor is an easy KO. We've been talking about Dondozo potentially going for a protect, but we are yet to have the confirmation, but there it is, yes.
Dondozo is going to protect.
Yeah, smart play there by David, identifying that protect was very, very likely, and now, with Ndidi, as you spotted Charlie, you get to go for helping hand and Draco Meteor, and this should get the knockout onto Dondozo, even after this little bit of extra recovery from
and the walking wake is going to use.
Fire also means that it will be able to change its moves. Was locked there with a choice band into breaking swipe, and that could come in handy later on. But actually, David thinking about a different way.
Helping hand.
Let's see, no helping hand.
Draco Meteor.
No helping hand, and no, it's not. It's just out of range there. David was really hoping it would be enough. Frustrated in the camera, but the
wave crash is going to nearly take out the. But the recoil damage has taken out the Dondozo.
And now Tatsugiri is going to hop out of the mouth. So 2 more fish left for Santiago. And the trick room being
Tatsugiri then is forced out back into the position. Ndidi twisted the dimensions, and the tailwind has pieced out.
The timing was good of the trick room. However, now you have a -4 special attack walking wake on the field, locked into Draco Meteor. It can deal significant damage, of course, still to Tatsugiri, but Tatsugiri still could go for the terrestrialization.
And then you got Chiyu.
Would mean that Draco Meteor would do laughable damage, even when it's backed by the Beats of Rune of the opposing Chiyu. But this is not the
ideal
under Trick Room, I would say. Now you could try and bring Gouging Fire back in somehow, but I have a feeling Walking Wake is going to stay on the field, just clicking Draco Meteor either until the game is over or until it's knocked out.
Yeah, so from this, there doesn't seem to be much of a way for them to go. It does look like that David is actually going to lose in this match.
You're looking better, but it's an uphill struggle for David right now. And again, just the Dondozo Tatsugiri mind games have really been playing with David. Be fascinating to get his thoughts as to his approach into this matchup. Really bring it down to the wire here. Just 1 second left, but is able to lock that move in. And now it's time for the terrestrialization.
The Tatsugiri is going to terrestrialize into the steel type.
Now it wants to be the one out on the field. The axe on its head, the axe to grind, and let's see if Santiago is able to carve their way through.
Ndidi is using Follow Me, so all attacks have to go to the Ndidi. Dark Pulse is going to take out the Ndidi.
Now, what can this walking wake do? At least it was safe from the Dark Pulse. There would have been a huge amount of damage. The Draco Meteor, it does connect.
Draco Meteor does barely anything to the Tatsugiri.
Only barely chips.
Yeah. Now Tatsugiri firing back, showing.
And he also uses a Draco Meteor with his Tatsugiri, which takes out the Walking Wake.
Effective hit, knocking out Walking Wake, and now it's all down.
Outside of the Gauging Fire.
Gouging Fire, the final Pokemon for him. And Santiago looking very, very close to closing out the series with a 2-0 win.
Yeah, Gouging Fire has access in this situation. Flare Blitz, Heat Crash, Dragon Claw, and Breaking Swipe, and you cannot switch up the move once you've chosen it. It's carrying a choice band. So, I mean, you get the spread damage at least with the Breaking Swipe, but that's all you get. Seems like Gouging Fire might just be extinguished this turn, but David is yet to spend the Terastallization, so there's no better time
Is it going to be a Heat Crash?
And then you can threaten this now Terra Steel Tatsugiri.
Yeah, if it's going to go for probably the Tatsugiri.
Good luck to you, David. I don't envy you in this position.
Yeah, certainly not. And the Gouging Fire is still trying to lock the right target with time ticking down.
He's determining whether he should go for... Oh, okay, he's going to go up against the Chiyu.
But let's see if that was the decision that can get David back into this game.
All right, it's the Terra Fire on the Gouging Fire. The chandelier atop the head is going to have a roar of victory, but unfortunately it might just go down in a blaze of glory. The Heat Crash,
right, so Heat Crash has been used.
Next, and it's going into, in fact, the Chiyu here. And
it's enough to take out the Chiyu.
With the Terra Fire.
Okay.
The Tatsugiri is locked into Draco Meteor. It's no longer super effective damage, and it's already at -2 in its special attack. It does connect. All of these Draco Meteor Pokemon.
Draco Meteor doesn't do enough damage.
From Santiago before the battle is up, and it will be the Tornadus.
And then we've got the Tornadus as the final Pokemon.
Tornadus, however, does have access to Protect, so can stall out the Trick Room that we're in. It's still an uphill battle, but there's hope.
Yeah, it can stall out the Trick Room potentially, but what it cannot do is land a hit with certainty, because Bleak Windstorm is the only move of choice on Tornadus, so we have Tatsugiri locked into Draco Meteor and Bleak Windstorm, so of course both moves that can miss, and if you can call the right targets for these Heat Crashes...
Alright, so Heat Crash is probably going to be used against...
Absolutely is. It would have to come down to a little bit of luck, but it's seeable. They're okay at the end of the tunnel, targeting into the Tornadus. Instead of the Tatsugiri, that makes a whole lot of sense. Is this going to be enough for the KO?
Oh, that's enough.
Okay. That's a one-hit KO. David Partington, more like David Parting shot, saying to Santiago, I see you, I can raise you, I can take this to a game 3.
Draco Meteor is going to hit.
And then the Draco Meteor, it's enough.
No. David
it takes out the Gouging Fire.
Playing to their outs, doing everything they could, the smile on his face. Of course, David.
It was very close.
To knowing that the sportsmanship goes a long way in this game. Congratulations, though, to Santiago Molina, your winner of Swiss Round 3.
And so, yeah, they have. He's won Swiss Round 3.
That Gouging Fire, if the Draco Meteor had missed, then
if that Draco Meteor had missed, then he would have lost that round, and it would have gone down to a third round.
Well played to David, and I love to see that team doing well in the rest of the Seville Special Championships, but we'll have to see how the day shapes up for David. But down but not out, One loss, you can still afford to lose one more game before you're feeling nervous about whether you make day 2 or not.
Yeah, both players dropping a lot of Dracos there in that final game. And I think I like the approach much better that David chose in the second game. Going for a Tailwind-based strategy right away and then setting up the Trick Room later on. I think that one turn, where the Draco Meteor was just barely not enough. I think we were behind the desk, we were kind of hinting at it that maybe Helping Hand was needed, and the switching into Indeedee, it seemed like such a smart choice, but then in the end, David decided to use that to set up the Trick Room. But just a little bit too bulky was Dondozo over at Santiago's side in that moment.
A tale as old as time, the big fish that just seems to keep getting bigger. Walking Wave was trying to take a leaf out of its book, going for his Terra Water. So cool to see Walking Wave being brought to the fray. Unfortunately, didn't have the show.
So that just shows you kind of a repeat of what's happened in the match.
Huge props to David and of course Jamie Boyd building this
team. That was a lot of work.
Spin on Regulators AF, something that Boyd is so well known for doing. Love to see the 3 fish over on Santiago's side of the field, and that Genie Tornadus granting the wish that was granted the win in Swiss Round 3.
Yeah, and here we see the final moments of the second game. Chiyu going down, then Tornadus going down to Heat Crash as well, but in the end, Tatsugiri hit the final, the most important Draco Meteor, knocking out Gouging Fire and taking the set 2-0 was Santiago.
So that Tatsugiri at that point was at -4, wasn't it?
Yeah.
13 HP. I wonder the minimum amount of HP for gouging fire there to be able to hang on with just one.
Draco Meteor is a powerful move.
Yeah.
I think maybe without the Rocky Helmet chip damage that Gouging Fire was taking from Tornadus, maybe then there's a way with like minimum roll, but 13 HP at Draco Meteor, I think, I'm afraid to say, it's gonna do.
It's guaranteed. It's guaranteed. Yeah, I just wonder.
Yeah, there's no way of him really recovering from that situation. Had that Draco Meteor missed, then that might have actually made the difference.
We have 5 more of Phase 1 before we start getting into Phase 2. I can't wait to see.
So they've still got 5 more rounds of Phase 1 before the next phase.
Will we see the balance? I think we'll probably see the balance. I think you might win on that front. But it'll be fascinating to see how these trainers pilot it, and if there's a change-up in the items. Who knows? Maybe there's a Choice Specs Raging Bolt. You know, it's all about those tiny changes to the established meta game.
Absolutely. And of course, also, David is not out yet. We'll be able to continue playing in this tournament. And if you at home are feeling like you want to play in some tournaments...
David's still got a chance to play, so that's actually quite good. He's not faced elimination.
Right away, then of course,
so there is another opportunity.
Started playing Pokemon, which is at locals. So let's have a look at what those are like.
Hey, do you want to play?
Yeah.
So this is just giving you kind of like an example of some local gameplay. It's just so it's showing you a little bit of the Pokemon Go, the Pokemon VGC, and also the TCG, which are the trading cards. So yeah, it's trying to encourage local gameplay for Pokemon.
I'd love to go to a local with you, Marcus. Not that we are based in the same country, and be at the table and you come in looking nervous, and I say, "Hey, want to play?" You say, "Sure." And then we battle them. For some reason, we have American accents in this scenario. But if you want to join, scan that QR code, find your local, and we'd love to see you there. Locals are a fantastic way to try out teams that maybe you're not...
Yeah, so if you just scan that, you're able to kind of see the events that are kind of closest to you.
You'll learn so much more from all of the other trainers there and make a huge amount of new friends. And that is what this wonderful community is all about. We'd love to see you at a local soon. Scan the QR code, come and join us. Look how happy that Lechonk is. That could be you.
It looks like, maybe just playing in one of the local tournaments.
Exactly.
Just being really happy, and use that QR code to look for Pokemon leagues close to you, and that might be your way of getting started.
Yeah, that'll give you like a little bit of an introduction as to kind of where you can be and go.
If you're a viewer already, then why not take it to the next level at some local tournaments?
Absolutely, and I got to say, if you're playing, then of course you're going to be getting so much more out of watching the streams as well. You get all of the nuances, get into the heads of the players a little bit as well. So if you're new or if you're a veteran, do remember to keep supporting your local scene.
Yeah, it says to continue to support your local scene, because they do need that.
What was your last local one? What did you bring to that?
Additional support.
This was last weekend.
Okay.
And we don't talk about it.
We don't talk about it.
Okay, so he apparently went to his locals last weekend, but he didn't do too well.
I got some help from a friend who traded because I had lended away one of my Pokemon, and so I was looking for one, and I got it, and then I realized too late, which was after I had already submitted everything, that I forgot to bottle cap it fully, and so that's how that went.
Okay, so he forgot to, he traded over a Pokemon, and because of that he hadn't actually put that in his new listings, and because of that he basically was made to lose.
So I'll tell you what we're going to go to now. It's going to be Santiago Molina, who knocked out that David Boom Boom Pow.
And now they're going to just do the interview with the
Thank you very much, Charlie.
winner of that last round.
I am here with Santiago Molina, our winner of Swiss round number 3 here in Seville Special Championships. Santiago, how are you feeling, my friend? That was a couple of back and forths with David on the big stage.
I feel like very happy because I don't used to play in the stream, and it was like a really easy matchup. So I say I can play relaxed. Have to play well, but I can't do it relaxed because if I was playing rain in the stream, I probably give up because it will be really hard. But it was easy.
Yeah, sort of like a bad matchup, right? I feel.
It was a really weird team. It was kind of easy, so that's really good.
Yeah, it might not be surprising. It's a Jamie Boyd's team as well.
So yeah, it's a team that's been used by a couple of different people. So it's consistently one of those that's kind of in demand.
Female indeed lead. So is that something you were expecting from David since you led with Chiyu and Dondozo?
I didn't expect that because my lead is always Dondozo Chiyu because I think that is the lead that covers most of the leads he can make because you know in game 2 the win sequence was also very scared by having Chiyu in front of me but I think that
so the other person they've got there is just a translator in case any questions are, because it's not his native language. He's doing really well though in terms of the interview.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we saw, even though he still tried pulling it through with the trick room setup as well towards the end of the game. But then game 2, you stuck true with Chiyu Dondozo, like you said. It's a very familiar lead for yourself. But then we saw David change it up with Gouging Fire and the Whimsicott. So initially, it seems like he's got a bit more of actions he can do versus game 1.
So yeah, they talked about how the different options they've had.
Your thought process when you saw that lead.
When I saw that lead, I think that he's always going to use Breaking Trap because he makes that much if I don't change into Tatsugiri, but it also, if I change into Tatsugiri, he's getting the...
He didn't know whether to go into his Tatsugiri or whether to go to the Chiyu.
The best lead he can do. It's not a really good lead because the match is like horrible for him, but it was really well played. And I think that getting the early KO in the win sequence was really good because he didn't have the tailwind speed control.
Yeah, and Sunny Day as well, right?
Sunny Day for the way crash. And then I think that Dotto is really good, and the Rocky in the Tornadoes is really good because Draco Meteor wouldn't KO with the Rocky.
Yeah, so it's talking about how Draco Meteor was enough to kind of KO a lot of the opponent's Pokemon.
Being able to survive, but you were able to pick it up in a really good way, which was very impressive to see. So just talking about the team a bit. There are very similar components to it with, let's say, we saw Marcus Coe earlier on stream today with the Dondozo and got the Chiyu Focus Sash. So is this a team that you've been working on quite a bit? Because we know that you got top 32 at Birmingham as well a couple of months ago.
The story behind the team is really fun because my mom told me that I should play a hyper offense because my runs were very, very long.
So yeah, apparently this is some help that he actually got from his mum because the rounds that he played in the last one, which was the London Birmingham round region, basically the rounds were too long, so he played too defensively. So it's quite ironic that the mother says like, I need you to hurry up, I don't want to be here all day.
100%, you've been doing an amazing job as well, and that could show you're comfortable with it. So, as we will be wanting to go ahead, give yourself a bit of rest, as we're going to be progressing to the next round.
So, yeah, they're heading up into the next round.
To anybody in the venue or watching at home?
No, not really. I just want to thank my friend Todd, because I think that he's the best Dondozo player and one of the best players I know.
Yeah, so, yeah, he's just doing his thank yous at the moment for the different people who's helped.
That's lovely to hear. Thank you so much for your time, Santiago. Huge congratulations for that win, and keep it up, my friend. You are on such a good progress to be able to run it through. So, with that being said, we're going to leave all of you folks an opportunity to get some refreshments, as we'll be back very shortly.
Okay, so
with Swiss round number 4.
They're going to have a quick break, and then they're going to Swiss round number 4.
Pokemon trainers, welcome to Pokemon Championships History.
So they're just covering some history to do with the Pokemon Championships.
This was the first World Championships held in the Alola region with Pokemon Sun and Moon.
Yeah, they're looking at the Alola region, the whole thing when Pokemon Sun and Moon were out.
Yoshimura and Ryota Atsuba. Japan was guaranteed to have a representative in the final.
So yeah, both representatives were Japanese. So here's the combination. They've got Salamence, Metagross, Nihiligo, Buzzhole, Tapu. I can't remember which Tapu it was in Gastrodon.
Tomoyuki was in a prime spot to claim the championship title, but Ryota was not.
And the opponent, he was using Crocodile, Whimsicott, Tapu Koko, Tapu Fini, and the Galarian, the Alolan Marowak, and the Celesteela.
But the real star of his team was Celesteela, the launch Pokemon.
Okay, so the Celesteela was apparently the kind of the main go-to. It was sufficient to take out the Gastrodon and also take out the Metagross as well. It used Earthquake to take out the Nihilego.
Wanted to keep his championship hopes alive. Not only did he have to win game 2, but he needed to do it fast. There wasn't enough time left in the round.
And yeah, he had critical time limits because his other Pokemon he basically saw get defeated, and he was kind of left to the to the Celesteela.
That is a big boy Salamence, taking a Choice Specs boosted Moonblast from a Tapu Fini of all things. And I know it's not known for its really big special attack, but it's still one of these Tapu Pokemon. As the trainers actually round out the game, shaking their hands, Tomoyuki will be the victor.
The clock was ticking, and 50 minutes wouldn't be enough time to finish this epic set. This meant our trainers would be concluding this match in the most dramatic way possible, +3 turns. If a match exceeds the round time,
so yeah, they had to go into a +3 turns because the match had kind of exceeded time.
At the end of the 3rd turn will be the victor.
Time was just called in the round. We are a couple of seconds out, so this is turn 0 in the game. And in this turn 0, Metagross taking so much damage, but after the Intimidate, it's not enough.
Rounds don't commonly go to time in VGC. Especially not in top 4.
It's not very common for rounds to go beyond time when it comes to the top cuts, especially top 4.
+3 turns in VGC history. A climactic 50-minute set came down to these final turns, and only one of these worthy trainers would be victorious. Celesteela wasn't the only Ultra Beast to show up big in this match. While the fighting-type Buzzwole faced off against a Fairy-type and a Flying-type, Tomoyuki made an incredible read with his Z-move to try to make Buzzwole...
So he's tried to use Buzzwole, and using its Z-move.
Like it is in the trading card game. In this case, it's a Buzzwole. It's going to be dealing some pretty sizable damage. It would like to get that on Celesteela, I think. A Pokemon that sometimes people try and bust through the defensive of with all of these fists.
But instead, the Crocodile is going to get knocked out by this all-out pummeling, leaving Ryota down.
So yeah, all-out pummeling was enough to take out the Crocodile.
Go into the final turn of this game.
With a 3-2 Pokemon advantage for Tomoyuki going into turn 3, Ryota could see his hopes of victory slipping away. This was Celesteela's last chance to launch Ryota into the annals of VGC history.
It's been so close coming down to the wire, but Buzzwole doing what it does best with the Z-move. No protect from Tomoyuki. Instead, Sludge Bomb into that Tapu Fini. Not going to knock it out. Instead, Moonblast into the Buzzwole.
Yeah, the Moonblast was enough to take out the Buzzwole.
His way back, he still has a chance. The Heavy Slam from the Celesteela into the Nihilego. Will it knock out without the Intimidate?
A critical hit! It does it at the right second.
Oh, that was enough to take it out with a critical hit.
Celesteela in the final turn of this game.
Tapu Fini hung on with 1 HP, and then crit from his trusty Celesteela. Ryota won an unbelievable set against Tomoyuki and would go on to lead Anaheim as the VGC 2017 Masters Division World Champion. Thank you for watching, and let us know some of your favorite moments in VGC history by using the hashtag #PlayPokemon.
Pokemon trainers, we all know that Pokemon battles are essentially about knocking out the Pokemon on the opponent's side of the field. So the temptation is to do that as fast as you can. But what if you want to take things a little bit slower? I'm Charlie Merriman, I'm joined by Ben Kiriakou, and today we're going to talk about Trick Room. It's one of those
Okay, so yeah, they're talking about Trick Room, you know, using slower Pokemon who can outspeed in Trick Room.
They're coming into competition. They're picking between power, bulk, and speed. All of those things are really crucial to any team. Now, most teams, without the advent of Trick Room, have to pick maybe 2 of those things to be able to have an effective team. Maybe they're trying to be fast and offensive. Maybe they're trying to be a little bit bulky and powerful. But you always have to sacrifice something. Under Trick Room, though, you can be the fastest Pokemon on the field and be the most powerful.
Yeah, so under Trick Room, you can have not really invested into any speed and actually every other kind of stat, and still be able to outspeed your opponent. So it's actually the best way of getting your Pokemon to beat over your opponent. If you just don't want to invest in that.
When Trick Room is set up,
especially over the 4 turns of Trick Room that these teams really have available to them. So, looking at this, it sounds all sunshine and roses for Trick Room teams, but it's not quite that simple. Trick Room's a really difficult move to be setting up because it's so slow. It almost always goes last in a battle. That means that 2 Pokemon can double up to knock out the Pokemon trying to set up the Trick Room, or moves like Taunt or Roar could even...
Yeah, there's a couple of moves out there that can force the prevention of the move Trick Room.
Trick Room setter and the support for it, you can really have a lot of trouble.
Yeah, it's quite high risk, high reward, isn't it? But I think it's also worth saying that even if you are running a faster team and Trick Room is set up, there are still ways around it. There are still ways you can try and stall out those turns before you can achieve something when the Trick Room is expired. Going for a priority move, for example, extreme speed, grassy glide, those sorts of things, those are ways to get some damage down and make sure you're still acting first, because those moves will still go first in Trick Room. And of course, protect, the move that's so common throughout VG, trying to keep your Pokemon safe until they're in a position where they can act decisively.
Protect, defensive switches, they're all well and good though, Charlie. You can always, though, count on Pokemon like Torkoal to be able to, use those really powerful spread damage moves to get around those sort of defensive plays. And as you were saying before, it's those more fast and offensive teams that really struggle to be able to deal with Trick Room.
Yeah, so they're looking at the different teams at the moment and how effective they're going to be under a Trick Room set. It's only going to be 30 seconds or so, and then we're going to have Swiss Round 4 coming up.
High up on your list, but that's all we've got time for at the moment. Thank you, Charlie, for discussing this with me. We're going to be getting back to the action, though, very soon.
Yeah, so they're coming to get on with the action now.
Lee, what's a Fire-type Pokemon's favourite drink?
I have no idea. What is a Fire-type's favourite drink?
Foy Coco. Welcome back,
very
trainers.
good.
Hope you're chilling out with the stream as well. Couldn't have been better timing, really, with that item with Sprigatito passing in Foy Coco there. So thank you, production.
I had lava on my mind for some
lava. Just pure lava.
Yeah.
Heatran downing a pint of lava. Mega Heatran, I can definitely do that.
Oh, yes.
Gaping jaws.
Yeah.
Really cool design, that one.
Very cool, yes.
Do you have a favourite?
Oh, the new Megas.
Yeah.
I really like Mega Clefable.
Nice.
Yeah. I like that one.
Really cool. I think that's an underrated answer. It's an underpicked answer.
Yeah, really like that one. What about yourself?
It's fun. For me, it's got to be Mega Phalanx.
Yes, very cool.
I've always loved Phalanx, and I think the idea of it...
Armors up, doesn't it?
Yeah, and that little one in the middle that's holding up the others struggling under the way. I think it's such a fantastic design, We want to hear your favourite new Mega designs as well. You know what hashtag you can use? Let's improvise a harmony. 1, 2, 3... Play Pokemon.
Okay, so just play Pokemon. It's just if you want to kind of get access to more information. Now they're setting up for the 4th round here.
You ready?
I am ready.
Okay, so who they're bringing out?
Pokemon names, and we have to. Well, I know the answers, but Lee and you have to unscramble.
So that's just
grass types. Okay. Of course, we are in springtime now. Who's that Pokemon?
Meganium. That's the answer to that.
Straight in there, Meganium. You think it's Meganium?
Yeah, it's Meganium.
Unscramble it. Let's reveal the answer for you all at home. Do you reckon it's Meganium? What do you reckon? It's Meganium. Congratulations.
Yeah, that wasn't surprising.
1-0.
They're not going to be all that easy, though, my friend. Okay. So, let's maybe also just discuss what it could be for a little bit. We're going straight into give people a chance at home.
I'll play the game a little bit. Yeah.
Fun that you can make the word anime gum out of Meganium, isn't it? It's interesting. Okay, here comes number 2 for you.
The second one is
what's going to be our
next puzzle to unscramble all grass types. Solifan.
So it's not as straightforward, right?
It's amazing the words that you can make out of Pokemon names.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
Also, Solar really appropriate with the spring theme and solar power. Talk me through your thoughts here.
I think it's. I think I know what it is.
I could tell. As soon as it came up, I thought you knew what it was. And
It's a flower Pokemon.
What do you reckon it is at home? Let us know in the chat. Solifan, unscramble those letters. Well, I mean, let's see. You can certainly make the word sun out of that.
Oh, Sunflora.
And
very good.
And that leaves Flora.
Sunflora.
Sunflora.
I didn't want to really say it before because I feel like I spoiled them again.
Sunflora. That's fine. That's fine.
Straight in there.
I think I planned 6 in total, and I'll get harder. Let's see if we're going to reveal all 6 so
the next one.
And get to the hardest one. Only one more. Okay. All right. We're going to do one more, but let's see if it's a harder one. Robomail.
Okay.
Robotic mail.
Robomail.
Unscramble.
I know. I'm really trying to think about it.
I have no idea what that is.
The contestant I had in Birmingham was giving it a little bit more thought, but Leah, straight in there with the answer. Let us know in the chat what you think it is.
Yeah, I'm probably not the best person to have on this.
Oh, okay, so Rillaboom. Yeah, very good.
I'd really like to test you on the harder ones. I hope that later in the day we can do the
I would enjoy some challenging ones.
Get that grassy surge, spring up on the field because of course it is.
Drum beatings, Rillaboom. It is.
Well done. Excellent.
I think the hint at the start definitely helped.
Yeah, of course.
I think without that, it might have been a bit,
been
a bit more difficult.
Been the reveal of the.
But it might be a secret power they have. Might be a hidden talent. Might be just identifying grass type Pokemon.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's your Pokemon ability. Specifically identifying grass type Pokemon. Yeah. I'm not sure it would have.
Trying to think of a name for that ability. What
it'd be called Grass Pass.
Grass Pass.
Okay, so yeah, they're just setting up for the next round.
Meadowhead. That's quite
so that's just how it is at the moment.
Meadowhead. Yeah, you do. Oh, I'm liking your hairstyle.
Oh, thanks, Charlie.
How's your hair care routine? Are you a paste? Are you a powder? What do you put in your gel?
A powder and
a wax. A powder and a wax. No,
yeah, a bit of powder, a bit of wax.
Got some about yourself? Do some wax. I've got some powder in there right now. No wax.
No.
Mate, it's a shame. I would like to do some more Pokemon anagrams, but apparently we have time for. But we're actually going to be taking a look at the matches that are going on.
So now they're looking into the new matches.
I mean, after that last match as well, I can't wait again. We've had quite a lot of Dondosa Tatsugiri so far on the podcast. So each round so far, are we going to see more? It's been pretty predominant.
Yeah, well, this time around we'll have a look at the notable matches going on the venue, and of course, the one that we'll be bringing you, and that will be Gabriel Lanza with a great
Okay, so yeah, they're going to be showing the match between Gabriel Lanza and Jordi Casado.
We'll talk much more about that in a moment, but let's take a look at some of the other matches going on in the venue right now.
Hisui and Lilligant from V. They're going up against Aurelian Sula, and Aurelian bringing that tried and tested kind of psychic core team. Obviously there with the Landorus Therian as well, so very much a similar team to what we saw Zachary have success with at EUIC. And then Francesco changing it up, going back to something maybe a little bit more comfortable in the rain mode there with the Pelipper, Archaladon as well. We haven't seen really much of that, so an interesting choice from Francesco. And Sinistcha as well.
Yes, love that.
I really like to see that Pokemon, and I think it's got a definite place in more Dondozo Santiago. Obviously.
Okay, so in this they have Raging Bolts, they've got Tornadus, Fluttermane, Ogerpon, there's a Great Tusk,
I would not expect to see this weekend. Great
and Incineroar, and the opponent is using an Incineroar as well.
And that Tornadus to activate the photosynthesis, perhaps. It's great. I mean, I can see where the Great Tusk comes from. There's so much Raging Bolt. Let's get some ground-type moves going, a ground and fighting type. If you're unfamiliar with it, trainers, and I wouldn't blame you if you were, because, again, we hardly ever see it, whether it's Regulations F or any of the others. It was used when the Paradoxes were first introduced.
It was,
But other than that,
so I feel like it's been a long time since I've seen a Great Tusk in action. You know, we've had ebbs and flows where we've seen Iron Treads kind of come in and out of the format. But Great Tusk's never been that Pokemon that's kind of made that reappearance, and maybe this is the time where it comes to the floor and reintroduces itself, reminds trainers that it is an option for them to use. And like you said, the ground typing that it's got is very good into the format at the minute. And that fighting type isn't anything to scoff at either, you know. It's got that photosynthesis ability to take advantage of the sun. That's becoming a little bit more used, so you can, even if you don't carry it yourself, if your opponent sets it for you, you can take full advantage of that. So it's a very good Pokemon in the right situation. So maybe it's found that niche.
Sky high attack and defense as well. So yeah.
So yeah, they talked about the balancing stats of the Great Tusk. It's quite decent on the attack and defense. Really quite slow in terms of bad in special attack and special defense. Other stats, its HP and speed are good, so it's really more so if it goes up against special attacking opponents, that's where it's going to have some weakness.
Because that is exactly the matchup that Gabriel will have practiced time and time again in order to get this Great Tusk team thriving.
That's one of the beauties, I think, about our players, picking these niche Pokemon that might not be so, commonly used, because your opponent hasn't had the time to practice against them, and on the fly almost has to make a game plan, which can be very testing and can be maybe that difference between winning or losing, with margins being so tight in these matches a lot of the way. So I really love those odd picks. Great Tusk here is going to give their opponent a lot of problems to deal with. It's that extra layer of thinking. But like you say, for Gabrielle coming in, has probably practiced against the team that they're about to go up against multitude of times, knows the ins and outs, knows where this Great Tusk can fit into this particular model against it, and maybe it has enough to take it over the edge.
It's interesting that, isn't it? Because we say, of course Gabriel will have practiced against the
So yeah, they talked about how Gabrielle's now been practicing against other players, and that actually is quite advanced.
Against the Bolt Balance, but not so much a Chi and Pow variant. And of course,
but against the Chi and Pow, which is the Ice Tiger, Saber-tooth Tiger looking Pokemon, it might be a lot more difficult. Given, look at it, it's a high attack and high speed, so it strikes fast. It's a physical attacker. Special attack is okay, but its other stats, its HP, its defense, and special defense are quite weak. So it's a hard hitter, but it actually is susceptible to all manner of being attacked.
And it carries that ice-type threat, not only the Ice Spinner to potentially remove a terrain that could be a bit annoying to deal with, but also Icicle Crash as well. It can just power through opponents very easily, and Icy Wind support as well. We've seen how valuable that can be in this format. So it's got a multitude of tools that you can really put to use, and extremely versatile Pokemon. I feel it's something I would like to see more of, along with that Great Tusks.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe Icy Wind, Chi and Pow won at the Birmingham Regional Championships, piloted by Stefano Greppi. So yeah, fascinating adaptation there. And sure, it's a physical attacker, but Icy Wind, the primary reason you click that move is, of course, to reduce the speeds of the Pokemon on the other side of the field. So wonderful to be able to fit it in. Has to be said as well, of course, the Great Tusk threatens the Chi and Pow right back with that real double super effective fighting type damage. So yeah, pretty evenly matched. The elephant versus the snow leopard. I just think it's so cool that we have a snow leopard Pokemon.
I know, it's great, isn't it? It was one of my favorites, I think, from the whole Scarlet and Violet series. I love Chi and Pow. It's it's a very, very... Can I say cool?
Of course, because they're cool.
There we go, then.
They're cool. It's a pun in itself. It's a nice stuff.
There we go. Even better there. Double there.
Would you say that's
always rely on...
Hey, old Merry Man. Would you say it's your favourite of the Treasure Room?
Yeah, very
so they're just about to set up now. It's just going to be a second to do that.
Yeah. You know, I've got a soft spot for Ting Lu as well.
Yeah.
Also, Wo-Chien. Not that we're completely ignoring that one, but I don't know, something, I like the blockiness of it.
Okay, so in terms of Wo-Chien, that's the only of the those kind of legendaries that has not really been mentioned. We've seen Chi-Yu.
30th anniversary, happy birthday, Pokemon. Well, the trainer's getting squared up here in Swiss Round 4. I can't wait to see this Great Tusk.
Yeah, this is Swiss Round 4.
How Gabriel's opponent will be adapting to this team, just not knowing what on earth to do with the Great Tusk that they're going up against.
It'll be interesting to see how the setup and support that the Great Tusk has, because I think that's the one thing you touched upon. If the Sunny Days is an option here, then that photosynthesis automatically activates. If it is trained in speed
yeah, so we'll see how they're going to be facing, whether there's going to be anything of any indication here, whether the Pokemon teams are going to be any good. They're just, again, still setting themselves up, which is just to be expected. It does take a while for them to do so, and to call in the various matches.
The Goldingo are going to really appreciate that speed control support as well. And another Pokemon that makes it a little bit more tough to bring something like that Chien-Pao, which would otherwise be very strong in just that neutral speed situation.
Yeah, the team preview mind games cannot be denied, and of course that's a mark of a great team builder too. I've got the great toss, therefore you want to bring this Pokemon, but if I have this Pokemon on my team, you'll be disincentivized from bringing it. Why, for example, we see King Gambit in the face of Incineroar and any Pokemon with that defiant ability. Okay, these trainers are getting their heads in the game, and we can't wait to bring Jordy versus Gabrielle to you. Regulation Set F having the rulebook totally torn up by these fantastic trainers, ready to face off against each other.
So they're about to be ready to face off.
We'll be ready to dive into in just a moment, but crucially, no major win for them yet. So is it going to be...
There's no major wins apparently for them as it stands. Neither of them have anything significant on their records.
Trainers having a phenomenal start so far this weekend here in Seville, and you know we are going to be watching for that potential road to victory from both of our trainers as we progress deeper.
Okay, so Gabriel Leonso has the Dansk Regional Top 64, Frankfurt Regional Top 32, Birmingham Regional Top 8, and Stuttgart Regional Top 32. Jordy Casado has the Birmingham Regional Top 64, he has the LAIC Top 64, the Dansk Regional Top 64, and the EUIC Top 128. So it's not bad, but you know it's still a bit of a ways away from anything that's significant.
Latin America International Championships Top 64 from this season as well, and in Gdansk this season, and Top 128 at EUIC last season. So clearly a player who has really found their footing in competitive Pokemon right now. Such recent achievements to their name, so many top cards. I cannot wait to get into this match between Gabrielle and
Let's see how it's going to fare.
With that all-important great touch.
They both look quite itchy, quite nervous.
It's such an odd Pokemon to see at this stage of the format as well, where it is very developed, but there are still unique and innovative ideas coming out from our trainers. But I think the dynamics of this match in general are really, really interesting, because on one side you've got a very standard looking kind of team, and Jordy got their own takes on it.
And now they've got the breakdown of the Pokemon. So Gabrielle is using an Incineroar, which is knockoff, Flare Blitz, Fake Out, and U-Turn. Goldengo is using Protect, Make It Rain, Shadow Ball, and Nasty Plot. Tornadus uses Protect, Break Wind Storm, Tailwind, and Sunny Day. Fluttermane uses Moonblast, Dazzling Gleam, Shadow Ball, and Power Gem. Ogerpon uses Spiky Shield, Iron Cudgel, Woodhammer, and Follow Me. And Great Tusk uses Protect, Headlong Rush, Ice Spinner, and Earthquake. So there seems to be a mixture of physical attackers and special attackers, but there's more on the special attacking side. I'd say Goldengo, Tornadus, Fluttermane, and Great. No, there's actually a mix. So yeah, 3 and 3, really. So yeah, that's actually quite balanced for the team.
Something that you're really going to have to put a target on if you are Jordy. And then you've got the Goldengo as well. You can't forget about that either, because if that gets room, sets up a nasty plot, that's going to be in space to really target both targets at the same time with that Make It Rain. And there's a few targets on Jordy's side of the field that aren't really going to appreciate the Make It Rain dropping, especially after that +2 special attack.
It's worth noting that this Great Tusk doesn't have access to any fighting type moves, actually. It's Cup of Ground, and then you've got Ice Spinner too. It's also Terra Ghost, and that will be an issue when it comes to the Chien-Pao over on Jordy's side of the field, because that has access to Sucker Punch. That's the only Dark-type move it has access to. And we called it out before, it will also be able to use Icy Wind to reduce the speed over on Gabrielle's side of the field. So, let's take a deeper dive into the team that Jordy Casado will be running. Incineroar, Chien-Pao, Earthly Rapid Strike, Raging Bolt, Landorus, and Rillaboom.
Yeah, I think
so now, they've just got the breakdown for Jordy Casado, and he's got Fake Out, Taunt, Flare Blitz, and Parting Shot. That's on the Incineroar. Chien-Pao has the Protect, Icy Wind, Sucker Punch, and Icicle Crash. Urshifu has Surging Strikes, Close Combat, Aqua Jet, and Protect. Raging Bolt has Thunderclap, Dragon Pulse, Calm Mind, and Protect. Landorus has the Protect, the Sandsear Storm, the Sludge Bomb, and the Earth Power. And the Rillaboom has the Fake Outs, Grassy Glide, Wood Hammer, and U-Turn. Of these, actually, the one thing to say is that the terrestrialization is on Chi and Power is for the kind of all the stellar terra typing.
Expedite the damage a little bit further if it is leaned into. Yeah, Stellar. Oh my goodness, it's such a tongue twister. Stellar Terror, there we go. Of course, giving a one-time boost to any individual type of move. So that would be
so it's a one-time boost to any type of move.
Sucker Punch, and then it is spent. But sometimes it's that extra multiplier that can really take things over the edge. Yeah, well, it's going to be the Great Tusk rocking the Ice Spinner instead of the Chi and Pow here, and it'll be great to get rid of the grassy terrain, and also, of course, threaten the Landorus with double super effective damage that it couldn't otherwise hit very effectively at all. It's time for Swiss Round 4 at the Seville Special Championships. Gabriel Lanzo versus Jordi Casado.
Okay, so yeah, they're now starting out with the match.
And it's going to be Tornadus and that shiny Great Tusk as well.
So they've got the Tornadus
speed control options here for Gabriel with that tailwind could supersede the Landorus,
Great Tusk, and on one side, and then they've got the
and then the other big brown type attacks that aren't going to be super effective into the
Landorus and Chi and Pow. I hate when they have to have these weird names on them. I know that they've been transferred over from trades. Yeah, it'd just be nice if they just had them in English, but it is how it is. Okay, so it's going quite quickly into the attacks. Yeah, so he's quite decisive on this. Right, so Landorus has been switched out.
From the Ice Spinner, the Great Tusk can go for
the Rillaboom.
It's got a ticket to the gig, and we are bopping along. The Grassy Surge bringing up all over the field, providing that passive recovery.
Right, so Tornadus is using Protect.
Just to protect, no damage into that slot. We turn our attention over to the Great Tusk as well, which is also going to be protecting. So this is just a turn where Gabriel can scout.
So yeah, there's just both of them using Protect. Icicle Crash has been used.
A bit of an advantage for Jordi here. We're able to get that Rillaboom in, and now has the pressure.
Okay, so is he going to use Tailwind? Yeah, Tornadus is setting up Tailwind.
With the cover clock, it is going to be able to avoid that fake out damage, and it does put it in a bit more of a vulnerable position from the Chen Power.
Oh no, it's actually going to use the Break Wind.
Pokemon that will be both protected. So, do you see Gabriel maybe commit to the Tailwind, try and get some damage off with the Great Tusk, but you've also got to worry about the Grassy Glide threat. There isn't just the immediate fake out threat. You've got that Grassy Terrain on the field as well that will supersede everything else and get that really key damage on.
Oh, he's got very little time. He's going to go into Terrestrialize and
non-effective going into the rest of the
going into Ice Spinner.
The Great Tusk are of course at risk of taking super effective damage from the Sucker Punch that Chi and Pow can dish out. So a fake out and Sucker Punch into that slot would be a way to cover it. But let's see what Jordi is thinking. Great Tusk has indeed shed his ground and fighting typing and become a pure...
So it's now this type.
That's going to be Tornadus, Tailwind, boosting the speed on Gabriel's team for a few turns. And now the Ice Spinner gets
the Ice Spinner's being used.
How much will it do to this Rillaboom?
It's almost taken out the Rillaboom.
HP. The grass is going to go now, so goodbye to the Grassy Terrain too.
Grassy Terrain goes. Icicle Crash almost takes out the Tornadus. The Wood Hammer does big damage to the Great Tusk, but it
able to survive with the last gasp and get another move off here, which is huge.
Okay, so Sunny Day is coming out.
To take that big attack, and now it gives it the opportunity to get that all-important Sunny Day off. You think maybe you only get the choice of Tailwind or Sunny Day, but with that training now, you've got the option to set the Sunny Day up. It's going to support the photosynthesis now on that Ghost Terror. Great Tusk is threatened, like you quite rightly mentioned, from a Sucker Punch, potentially from that Chen Pow, but you have two.
So he's deciding whether he's going to switch in or not.
Take advantage of that sun.
Okay, so he's going to switch up the Great Tusk.
We don't know which stat would be boosted from the photosynthesis.
For the Overpon.
Chance could hang on through a Sucker Punch, but it's going to be switching out. Ogabon hitting the field instead, and now it's going to be a switch.
Okay, Rillaboom's been good at switched out.
Can be set back up when Rillaboom comes back in, And coming in its place is going to be the
Raging
Bolt. So we
Bolt.
now have the reveal of all 4 Pokemon on Geordie's side of the field. Gabrielle is going to be wanting to keep that Great Tusk safe to be able to deal effectively with the Raging Bolt now. Sunny Day, unfortunately, also going to activate the photosynthesis on the Raging Bolt, so a nice call from Geordie there to switch in the Bolt in this situation. Sucker Punch was attempted there, presumably into what was that Great Tusk slot, but now Ogerpon is threatening with big Ivy Cudgels as well.
Yeah, nice switches from both players, kind of around the threats that were immediately there, and the Rillaboom going out can now have the option to come back in, bring that Grassy Terrain onto the field. And
Right, so what they're going to do from here?
Healthy at this moment in time, where it is threatening with the Sucker Punch.
Okay, there looks to be another swap in, which I don't think is a good idea.
Not really too worried about anything on Gabrielle's side right now with that Dragon type and resisting those Ivy Cudgels and the Bleak Windstorm that the Tornadus provides. Not really a threat, and you also have Thunderclap as well as an option to just quickly remove the Tornadus and further preserve your Chen Pao in this situation. But do you have a switch in the back? If you look at Geordie's 4 that they've revealed, nothing can come in on an Ivy Cudgel now that you've got that Raging Bolt out on the field.
Real thorn in Gabrielle's side that Chen Pao's Focus Sash remains intact as well. Going to have to deal at least 2 hits to that Pokemon.
Yeah, he's going to have to do something at the moment now.
Activated now as well. All of these past Paradox Pokemon just bathing in the sunlight. This time Chen Pao is going to be preserving himself. Where did Gabrielle target with the Ogerpon? Of course, the Ivy Cudgel was threatening down Chen Pao somewhat.
Ivy Cudgel just on the Floss Vein doesn't do anything. Raging Bolt's using Calm Mind.
Get a boost to its special attack and special defense.
Yeah, really clever protect there from Geordie, identifying that Chen Pao was the big target. It was threatened by that super effective attack in the Ivy Cudgel. I'm going to take this moment while I've got a little bit of room with my Raging Ball to get that all-important Calm Mind off. It's going to set you up a little bit better against the Fluttermane that's come onto the field. And the nice thing that Geordie still has access to is their terrestrialization. They can get rid of that weakness from the Fluttermane. It's pretty much immediate here. But at the same time, if you do that, a bit of a double-edged sword because you become a little more susceptible to those Ivy Cudgels that are boosted by the
so
sun.
what's he going to do from here?
Yeah, well, the Raging Bolt really under the thumb here. Both Pokemon. It would be so nice to get a Dazzling Gleam off and then an Ivy Cudgel to be able to remove the Chen Pao from the fray. But, of course, Geordie will be factoring that into account.
So what are you going to do?
On the Ogerpon to redirect some damage away from the Fluttermane, but in fact, it's going to be the Chen Pao scarpering back to Geordie's Pokeball, as now coming in instead, it will be Landorus. It still isn't going to want to take a
okay, so there's it's switching out for the Landorus, and then a Protect's being used. Dazzling Gleam is going to not be used against the Raging Bolt, but it gets used against the Landorus. It does quite a lot of damage. Ivy Cudgel then takes down the Landorus.
Yeah, you're saying Geordie probably trying to stall out these Tailwind turns right now, and then further stall out the Sun as well. It's in effect. The Tailwind, you can see, does wear off now, so that speed advantage that Gabrielle did have is now gone. We saw the special attack boost from the photosynthesis onto the Fluttermane, so if it's max speed Chen Pao, it probably will outspeed the Fluttermane now that Tailwind's gone, and can pressure with those Icicle crashes, can get that flinch.
Alright, let's see what they're doing.
If you remove that target, then things become a little bit easier because you've got that Raging Bolt +1 with that special attack.
Come on.
Boost. It is going
what are you going to decide on?
And remove one of those big threatening pieces on Gabrielle's
okay,
side.
so now, yeah, he's going to terrestrialize. Raging Bolt goes into a Fairy type.
This is so nice as well, given the Great Tusk lurking in the back. It now can't hit this Raging Bolt for super effective damage. Icy Wind is being used. Really nice tech move that we identified. Now Fluttermane and Ogerpon will not be half as speedy, and the Raging Bolt with its boost can
Dazzling Gleam almost takes out the Chen Pao.
All the way down to its Focus Sash. You can see how well that Raging Bolt takes it. The Dragon Pulse now, though, into the Ogerpon with a Calm Mind boost. The Ogerpon
still survives
with a no longer
and takes out the Raging Bolt.
And it gets the KO. That's the terrestrialization option down for Geordie, and all of a sudden, this is 4 Pokemon versus 2.
Yeah, again, you can see how well Gabrielle's trained their Pokemon, able to take that double up into the Ogerpon there just to hang on and take advantage of a potential terrestrialization. Exactly what came out. That Dragon typing gone. The Fire type does normal, neutral damage, but boosted by the Sun enough to take down that big target. And both Pokemon on Geordie's side hanging on by a thread now. It looks almost...
Okay, so yeah, it looks almost like a certainty that, you know... the first player is going to win
over on Gabrielle's side of the field.
on Gabrielle's side.
He's now a Ghost type. not going to be appreciating any sucker punches from the Chien Pao. Gabriel's still going to be careful about where they target here. Thordomain, fortunately, immune to the fake out, so got some guaranteed dazzling. I mean, one more dazzling lead would, of course, just secure the game. What can Geordie do?
Oh, so yeah, they need to decide on the. Okay, so there's going to be a. Is that going to be a spiky shield?
You do have Polymé support with your Ogopon as well that you could lean into. Not wanting to take any chances here. We just see the switch out, so that immediate threat is gone, and the Great Tusk's entering the fray once again.
Great Tusk hit the field, but of course it cannot attack on the turn that it switches in, so it's going to be vulnerable from the Chien Pao.
So the spiky shield is being used.
As Ogopon will just be keeping himself safe now. Grassy Glide attempted into that Ogopon slot, so that chip damage, it might be enough to secure the KO onto this very low Rillaboom here. I think it might be, and that Rillaboom has gone
Rillaboom's
down. Just this 1 HP Chien Pao against all 4 of Gabriel's Pokemon. The little snow leopard that could, as the Icicle Crash, the Terra Ghost, Great Tusk, not enough to secure the KO.
Yeah, and then you can see the defensive capabilities of this Great Tusk when it does terrestrialize here. And yeah, Gabriel playing extremely well, not even losing a single Pokemon this far in the game, and playing it extremely well, making it very difficult for Geordie to get any sort of foothold in this game. And now 4 against 1, even though a lot of the Pokemon on Gabriel's side are dwindling, the number advantage here alone will be enough to just get that tiny bit of chip damage onto
the it almost looks like a certainty here.
Well, incredible stuff. The Great Tusk trainer is the one that seems to be emerging on top. Of course, Gabriel just taking the time to make sure that they're not locking into any silly moves here. And, of course, gives a little bit more time to be able to reflect on the game plan heading into this second game. Of course, best of 3 is how it works around these parts, trainers. And, yeah, interesting that the Raging Bolt was taken out.
Yeah, so they're gonna. Okay. Oh, Icy Wind. Oh, yeah. It takes out the Ogopon, but it's not enough to take out the Great Tusk.
Now the Great Tusk just
Headlong Rush. I'd have to take it down.
That is Chien Pao down back to the Ice Ren Shrine. That is 1 game up for Gabriel Lanza.
So yeah, 1 game up for Gabriel Lanza.
Yeah, 1 step closer to taking this Swiss round 4, but you know, not over yet. I think Geordie has got a lot of options where they could adapt, and maybe now has a clearer picture of what Gabriel's going to try and do in these games, and has a better idea of the capabilities of their Pokemon as well. We saw how many times they took those big attacks where you're expecting a knockout, because Geordie really capitalizing those opportunities where they had, but Gabriel's Pokemon managing to hang on, so you really need to be able to commit a little bit more damage there. Maybe it means getting Raging Ball +2 with 2 Calm Minds under its belt. Maybe utilising things like those priority attacks a little bit better. We didn't really see Rillaboom have much of an impact in that game.
So yeah, they're just setting up for the second round.
I would have liked to have seen Incineroar, I think, come to this match as well.
But yeah, it's just not that great at the moment. It's quite a domination.
As a reminder, Geordie, Birmingham Regional Top 64 from just a couple of months ago. So this is a season going very well for them, and LAIC Top 64 this season too. So Geordie has the wind in their sails, but Gabriel, of course, Top 64 from Gdansk as well this very season, then Top 32, all the way back at the start in Frankfurt. So pretty evenly matched in terms of achievements between these trainers, but which is going to have the advantage heading into this game? Fantastic to see the Great Tusk come to the fray, even if it didn't achieve a huge amount in that game. It'd be wonderful to see it claim that huge, massive, decisive knockout. But in order to do that, it seems like Geordie would have to terrestrialize another target, because this Great Tusk, it seems to be an adaptation for Raging Bolt.
Yeah, it's very difficult for Geordie when you look at the overview of the teams and how you approach this matchup, because I think, yeah, you can't really stop that tailwind from the Tornadoes because of the cover cloak on their prankster ability. It's going to be able to get that off. So maybe the Urshifu is something you could lean into from Geordie to try and get that damage with something like the Surging Strikes. Of course, Sunny Day going to really affect that a lot.
Yeah, and it's going to be the run back of the leads over on Gabriel's side with the Great Tusk and Tornadoes for Geordie, Chien Pao and Rillaboom.
I think you go after the Tornadoes. I think if you're going after anything, I think the Tornadoes feels like a really good target to get
Okay, so they're now back with round 2.
Dribbling into it, and then a Protect coming out on that slot and freeing up the Great Tusk, because the Great Tusk right now feels more...
So they've got the Tornadoes and the Great Tusk, and then they've got the Rillaboom and the Chien Pao. So it's the same combination of Pokemon that have been introduced.
Jordy said, got to get this turn right, whatever they do. Obviously, the fake out can't go into the Tornadoes, but you can fake out into the Great Tusk as well. So just free up a bit.
Okay, so they're switching out the Rillaboom.
Just exit for now.
Yeah,
only difference is they've put the they've got the Incineroar out. The Chin Power is actually on the other side of the field, basically.
Both Pokemon on Gabriel's side really threatened by the
okay, so now the Tornadus is going into Terra Steel, so it's going to be resistant from Ice-type moves.
Resisting those Ice-type moves, but the Great Tusk is left pretty vulnerable here. Protecto coming out.
Okay, so it's being used as Protect.
Let's see if they're able to deal huge damage into Jordy's Incineroar.
Break Wind Storm is being used.
Connect into the Incineroar. It's 100% accurate in rain, but otherwise not as accurate as that.
Okay, it's not really done that much damage to the Incineroar, but it has lowered its speed.
Which isn't guaranteed. Ice Spinner not going to be very effective into the Incineroar, but it will be removing.
It will remove the grassy terrain.
Anyway, so it would come back in, it would set up the grassy terrain all over again. A little bit of chip from the Rocky Helmet too.
Yeah, a nice terrestrialization in response to the threat of the Ice-type attacks on the Chin Pow for the Tornadus. But the problem now is that the Great Tusk can't terrestrialize to get around the fake-out pressure that is present now with this Incineroar on the field next to the Chin Pow. Problem is, as well, the Chin Pow doesn't have access to a fighting type attack that you would like to see here.
Okay, so we'll see how this goes. It seems to be quite determined as to what he's really going for.
Is Gabriel going to switch it out here? And maybe you just protect it because you've got the room to after that previous turn.
And so that's Tailwind.
Coming out for Gabriel now, just as the dividends it paid in that previous game. The Earthquake, though, getting the
Earthquake's more than enough to take out the Incineroar.
Tornadus, of course, as well, but Tornadus still hangs on. This must be a near max defense Tornadus in terms of how.
And the Tornadus didn't take too much damage from it. All the Ice Crash on this took out the Great Tusk.
Really indexing hard on this physical defense on his Pokemon.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to bear in mind as well, the Sword of Rune is still active on this Chin Pow, so to be able to take these attacks is very impressive from these Pokemon. And Gabriel, very surprised at the Earthquake, but worth it to get rid of that Incineroar and punish no Faker coming out this turn into that slot. So I think, yeah, make sure the Tornadus, it does survive, which is great. Again, it's got that opportunity this next turn to get a sunny day off if you want.
Okay, so now it's sent out the Raging Bolt.
Problem doing that, though, is as well, you help the Raging Bolt, but it has got that booster energy, so it was going to get that photosynthesis boost on its special attack either way.
The Raging Bolt is kind of threatened here, given the Tailwind and the Great Tusk that remains on the field, but a Sucker Punch should be enough to get the KOs resisted onto the Great Tusk, and we've seen how bulky it is, but with Sword of Ruin as well. But this is exactly the position Jordy wants, to get that Raging Bolt out in a position where it's not threatened.
Yeah, and you've got the option.
Is it going to use an Earthquake? Or have a wait and see?
Switch out your Great Tusk here, and I think that's the decision Jordy's got to make. Do you go for the Sucker Punch, potentially waste that, or do you expect to switch out from the Great Tusk? You do risk, if you go for an Icicle Crash, just kind of not.
What are you going to go for? You've got 10 seconds to make a decision.
50-50 call. But at this stage of the match,
5,
you've got to kind of be very
3,
confident
2.
in your convictions, whether or not you can be. It's
Okay, so Tornadus is going for Sunny Day.
This is going to be really interesting because we now get to see the photosynthesis boost that the Great Tusk will receive. Which stat will it be?
Attack, spin the flattened.
As if this wasn't hitting hard enough already, but the Sucker Punch can.
Sucker Punch has taken out the Great Tusk.
So, this star Pokemon of this matchup, the Pokemon that's really been writing the narrative here into its round 4.
Okay, so Raging Bolt is now using Calm Mind.
To get off this free Calm Mind here. It's so much safer than it was in the previous game. It no longer really has to go for that Terra Fairy either.
No, I really like the Calm Mind here because it's so easy to go for that Tornadus, but doing that, it's not really that effective, so you prefer to keep that on the field and not have the Ogerpon and the Fluttermane both out at the same time, so you can concentrate a bit more of your efforts into that Ogerpon initially. The Calm Mind's definitely going to help you there with getting that additional damage onto it, but we've seen how bulky it is already.
Okay, so I think he's looking at Bleak Wind Storm.
The Ogerpon get a little bit of an initial damage there. Thunderclap into the Tornadus to preserve the Chen Power if that turn plays out. Now, that might be a way for Jordy to start controlling this game a little bit better.
Yeah, the priority options over on Jordy's side really, really threatening in a situation like this. And can Raging Bolt get away with it? Not if Gabriel's Fluttermane in the back has anything to say about it. Of course, threatening huge, very tight damage, holding the choice specs, bolstering its special attack to no end, and would be super effective.
And Tornadus is going back. He's going to be swapping out for the Fluttermane.
Where they target with their priority moves, the Sucker Punches and the Thunderclaps. Can Gabriel get away with this?
Special attack was heightened.
Basking in that, the special attack
Spiky Shield is going to be used by the Ogerpon.
Onto the Ogerpon, but is this Fluttermane vulnerable? The Icicle Crash call into that slot instead, and it's brought down to 17 HP. That could be it. That could be the turn that decides that we're going into a game 3. But down, but not out. There are still ways back.
That is a great play here from Jordy, because obviously we talked about the presence of the priority there, but it does, if you are expecting that, it opens the door for Gabriel, like we saw, to make those free switches, but punishing that, knowing that that could be what happens here in this game, especially because the Chen Pao's sash has been broken, right? But now that Fluttermane comes in, it's not going to be as powerful as it was in that game on, because it is going to be targeted by a Thunderclap.
He's making the guy nervous, you can see. Okay, so the Follow Me is being used by the Ogerpon.
We don't seem to have a terrestrialization either.
It's a double protect.
Stalling out the Sun so that the Fluttermane isn't hitting as hard, and of course critical hits could be a way for Gabriel to still secure this victory against Jordan. Ogerpon's center of attention, but it's not going to receive any attention because of the double protect.
Dazzling Gleam is double protect.
With the choice specs, Fluttermane is locked into the Dazzling Gleam. It cannot switch up that move choice. It would have to switch out and back in to do that.
Yeah, and we talked about, the threat of these priority attacks, but one thing really protecting the Fluttermane is that Ogerpon with that Follow Me that does alleviate the threat immediately. But now the Tailwind's gone, the Shen Pao is going to be in a place where we can see it outspeed.
So we'll see what's happening.
Be a bit more careful about how
that's quite hard.
Still in a nice position as well with that calm mindset.
He's looking to swap in.
Those Thunderbolts, can throw out those Dragon Pulses,
and
like that Ogerpon that will be hit for very big damage, and even a Tornado switching in at this point is so low health. It's going to go down to any.
Yeah, I was just going to any attack.
Broken the focus sash on the Qian Pao, so it's a little bit more softened up. But Gabriel, understandably, taking all the time they need to lock into these moves, because this is a much more difficult situation than we saw in game 1. So the switch out and Tornadoes joining
the switch out's coming.
Place of the Fluttermane here. But how did Jordy call this? As the terrestrialization finally comes out over on Jordy's side, and it will be into the Qian Pao this time around with the Terra Stella rather than the Terra Fairy Raging Bolt. Really interesting given the Fluttermane in the back, but of course it's on such low health that just a simple Thunderclap would be able to do the trick. There's that Icy Wind. Terra Stella boost not so important here, but the speed drop certainly is, and a double connect as well. Tornadoes down, Ogerpon speed reduced, and now this Raging Bolt might just be able to secure that knockout onto the Ogerpon as well. Yeah, I believe 6 HP remained on last time around with this combination, but that Stellar boost might have just pushed it over the edge, like you're saying there, Charlie. But the Dragon Pulse coming out.
And the Dragon Pulse is coming out. Yeah, it's enough to take out the Ogerpon.
Yeah, physical defense. You can't necessarily train both the physical and the special defense, and this time around that Ogerpon is going to be all the softer to that Dragon Pulse, and swooping as well onto the field once more is this Fluttermane.
Fluttermane is not going to be able to do anything. It's just it's done.
That redirection support, it is a sitting target.
Yeah, he's just going to give up that battle.
Either of these targets on Jordy's side of the field, and just testament to how well they've controlled this game right down to the.
Yeah, there's no point in going into that. There's no way he was able to kind of do anything about it.
Making things way more difficult here for Gabriel to get any momentum like they had so easily in that game 1.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be our first 3-game set of the.
So yeah, this is the first 3-game set that they're facing.
Decisive in 2, but Jordy Casado comes back and wins that game. Lee, heading into this final game, what do you think went right for Gabriel in that first game, and then could have changed in that second game, heading into a decisive third?
Well, the first thing that you identify is the terrestrialization, where that fell. In game 1, it went onto the Great Tusks. That made it a little bit harder to utilise or pressure with those fake-outs. We never saw it really come to any fruition there, but I think going on to the Tornadoes, it made sense. It got rid of that ice weakness from the Chen Pao that was so immediate, but did it really do much other than that, than taking away maybe terrestrialization from something else that would have been a bit more useful to take advantage of that speed control that Sunny Day, that the Tornadoes had put into play? I think that's maybe what Gabriel needs to look at. Jordy doing everything right there, like the integration of the Incineroar there, that double fake out. And even though the Intimidate's not that great against the Great Tusk, it is going to be useful against that Ogerpon that does constantly come from Gabriel's side, that is boosted by what would likely be that Sunny Day always set up.
Right, so yeah, they're setting up for the next round.
It would be brilliant if the Great Tusk player was able to be the winner here in Swiss round 4, the Pokemon that we so rarely see in regulation set F.
And the Clear Amulet does keep it safer from the Incineroar, but so many threats that it has to deal with from Geordie's side. It's interesting that we haven't seen the Earthshrew come out yet, but of course, when you're rocking the Sunny Day on Tornadoes, and it's going to be a move that Gabriel is likely to click, you're very much disincentivized from bringing it. It's nice that Gabriel has access to the Flutter Mane as well to be able to try and deal with this Raging Bolt. It's not just putting all the eggs in the Great Tusk basket there. However, as we saw, just calling that Icicle Crash on the switch into the Flutter Mane brought the Flutter Mane down so low that it was just in range of any of those priority moves. And with no Psychic Terrain available to either trainer, you're not going to be able to protect yourself from that. So here we go, trainers. It's going to be game 3. Here at
so now we're going to game 3.
The Sociable and the Gourmet Chien-Pao and Rillaboom are here to dine. And here come Ogerpon and Flutter Mane. So the switch up finally from Gabriel.
Yeah, expecting maybe the same leads coming out from Geordie and having a little bit of a better position against these. You know, the Rillaboom has that active fake out, not going to be pressing into that Flutter Mane because of the ghost typing there, so has an easy access to a Dazzling Gleam, maybe even Terastallizing here to put more damage onto the field.
Okay, so now we're into the next round, so this is Ogerpon and
careful, but do you want to fake out into that slot? Probably not, so it could open the door.
The Flutter Mane versus Chien-Pao and Rillaboom.
Could be inflicted from that Rillaboom going into it. You could take advantage of that because you are pressuring big fire type attack into the Chien-Pao and the Rillaboom here that, you know, you could take an early advantage and maybe switch out that Flutter Mane, keep it for later on in this match when it's in a bit more
then trying to decide.
Chien-Pao so crucial in this matchup, of course.
Oh, they're switching out for
is just running rampant through Gabriel's
an Incineroar.
So Ogerpon is remaining on the field. Incineroar of Gabriel's own is coming in instead, dropping the Intimidate on these two physical attackers now and providing a fake out heading into the next turn. Time for the Terastallization as well. Which of these Pokemon will be changing up its typing? Will be that Chien-Pao again?
Chien-Pao is going to be Terastallizing, so it's going to the Stellar type.
Profile, but your offense is certainly bolstered. Chien-Pao with that Meow of victory. The Ogerpon going for its spiky shield though, and of course with Ice and Dart moves, the Incineroar really isn't threatened very much at all, not least by the addition of Rillaboom as well.
Yeah, I think if you see the fake out coming into that Ogerpon, I think you probably have to go for it there just because of the immediate threat that it puts onto both of these targets on Geordie's side of the field. Icicle Crash coming out into that Incineroar. Charlie, but really nice switch in there from Gabriel and putting themselves into a remarkable position going into this next turn where they've got that active fake out from the Incineroar.
So yeah, that's a lot of damage that it's going to be able to take for that.
There, and then follow up with an Ivy Cudgel, or you've got a free target with Ivy Cudgel and something else into that Rillaboom that cannot protect.
Yeah, Incineroar and Ogerpon really putting in the work here. We've been talking about this lead, the Chien-Pao and the Rillaboom, but of course, how do you deal with that? You bring some fire-type damage of your own. So, Geordie, very much under the thumb with these leads here. You really want to break that focus sash as soon as you possibly can.
Yeah, he's having a lot of struggles with this decision here.
Through in the later game. Here we go. So
Chien-Pao's being switched out.
Coming in its place for Geordie's team will be the
and they're going for the Raging Bolt.
Set up earlier this time around, and it does match up nicely into the Pokemon over on Gabriel's side at the moment. So the special attack booster energy doesn't need that sun to activate the boost.
And then he's going to be switching out the Rillaboom as well.
The reveal of the final Pokemon. Rillaboom is going to the back and coming
into the Incineroar.
Brought to the field once more. No Landorus in sight. So fire meets fire. The firepower is amplified. The Intimidate, the Ivy Cudgel, not doing too much damage.
Not doing much damage at all.
And of course, with no critical hit, even though that move has a boosted chance of getting one, the Incineroar is taking it so well. Geordie kind of giving Gabriel a taste of their own medicine, given what happened with that Incineroar switch from Gabriel early on.
Yeah, great double switch there from Geordie. If there was ever a time to bring Great Tusks in, it would be now, but it looks like Great Tusks haven't come to this match. It is going to be the Flutter Mane that comes in
there's
now. And again, it is going to have that immunity to the fake out. It puts immediate pressure on to the Raging Bolt if it doesn't commit to that Terastallization, and boosted by that Choice Specs item that it is holding and the potential.
Well, we'll see about what's going on here.
Massive damage.
Okay, so you've got Dazzling Gleam.
The Ogerpon probably not in the most preferable position here, so maybe if you are Gabriel, you want to switch that out, although it does provide that really useful Follow Me support to pull in.
You've got the Follow Me as well, which is potentially being used.
These next few turns.
Yeah, I really like that lead because, of course, the Thunderclap...
Is it going to use Dazzling Gleam?
Redirection, you have to be going for an offensive move of your own. For something like Thunderclap,
come on,
Sucker Punch,
make your choice.
The Flutter Mane is in such a better position than it was.
So Fake Out's being used on the Ogerpon.
Gabriel here, as Ogerpon won't be moving this time around.
Thunderclap is used on the Flutter Mane.
No Assault Vest
but the Dazzling Gleam is almost taken out.
As well. And now all of a sudden, this Raging Bolt, it looks like that's the tower that might fall.
Yeah, and this is a really tough position for Geordie to be in now, because all Gabrielle has to do is click Follow Me, Dazzling Gleam. Both Pokemon on Geordie's side of the field are now vulnerable to get knocked out by that Dazzling Gleam. And what do you have in the back to switch in? Well, you've got Rillaboom, it has got the Assault Vest, it will be able to take that a little bit better, but...
Okay, so what's he going to do? Is he going to use Follow Me, or is he going to use IV Cudgel?
You have to let something go down here to get that Chien-Pao onto the board that is going to be able to threaten with something other than what you've got out at the minute. So, really difficult situation.
Okay, so he's got it. Okay, so Thunderclap is used and... Okay, yeah, so Dazzling Gleam's just enough to take out the Raging Bolt, but the Incineroar is still around. And the IV Cudgel is being used against the Incineroar. It's a double knockout.
In game 1, it was Gabrielle with all 4 Pokemon remaining going up against Geordie's 2 in the late game, and that's exactly what's happening here.
Yeah, I mean, preserving the Ogapon, you can see it's still full health now after that grassy terrain recovery against what is to come in the Rillaboom and the Chien-Pao.
And now you've just got the Chien-Pao
not in the best of spots now because the grassy
and
side is
the Rillaboom.
But you still have the Incineroar that you can bring in the back if you are Gabrielle. It looks very difficult for Geordie to get back into this game where the Incineroar can just switch in, drop in all important Intimidate, you can protect the Ogapon for a turn, and then you've got Fake Out and the Ogapon to deal with the Rillaboom. You don't want to go into the Chien-Pao because of the Protect there, and then once the Rillaboom's dropped, you've just got a 4 against 1 situation. So all to do for Geordie. It doesn't look like there are many ways back into this game for them with the remaining Pokemon.
Right, so from this, yeah, he's still making a choice in here. It is looking like the match is kind of more decisive on this. Is he switching out, or is he just gonna use a move? Use a move, do something, please. Oh, he's gonna switch out for the Incineroar from the Fluttermane.
To that turn with the Fluttermane bringing the Raging Bolt so low, but we'll dissect it afterwards as the Incineroar now is going to come in and provide that all-important Intimidate and Fake Out heading into the next turn. Is exactly the
yeah, so there we go, we've got the Fake Out.
Not moving, but that's okay. The Pokemon on Gabrielle's side can very much take this damage. Look at that. That Incineroar is shrugging off the attack from the opposing
side. So it's a flinch on the Ogapon.
There was the opportunity there where you could have maybe doubled into the Ogapon, but with how the game's played out earlier, where Spiky Shield's always been the option that Gabrielle goes to when presented with that Fake Out pressure. It's
okay, so is he gonna
potentially waste the 2 moves in one of these kind of end games where everything isn't so
what's he going to do?
But yeah, great switch from Gabrielle, like we talked about, getting the Incineroar in, and now going to take advantage of the Terastallization, and it will be on to this Ogapon.
Ogapon half flame, its mask is shining bright, is looking furious, even though it's about to claim Swiss Round 4 of the Seville Special Championships, getting that boost to its attack.
Okay, so yeah, it's now going to go into
Fake Out. That's
Fake Out.
That's broken on the Chien-Pao. Really fantastic to be able to soften it up for the end of the game, which might be just 1 turn away. As the
IV Cudgel is being used to take out the Rillaboom.
I think that IV Cudgel might just be busting that drum in 2. As Rillaboom goes down to a big 1-hit KO. And the Chien-Pao that was so crucial for Geordie throughout this matchup is going to be the last cat standing. You're facing down 2 fire types, not what you want to see. A Sucker Punch for glory going off against the attacking Ogapon here.
And he's going to take out the
any stretch of the imagination.
Chien-Pao.
1 more IV Cudgel, the hero from Kiddicom. He is sending the Chien-Pao all the way back to the Ice Ren Shrine. And Gabriel Lanzo,
he's
fascinating, great tough team, is claiming Swiss
he's just won. 2-1.
What a phenomenal job here from Gabrielle. You know, I think game 1 came out of the traps, showed why.
Okay, so I think that's going to be me for my live stream of this part of the event. We still have about 5 hours and 20 minutes, so I will probably do that on tomorrow's live stream. Make sure to like the video, it really helps support the channel, and if you can watch another video at the end screen or on my main channel as well, that'd really help, and I will see you in the next one.